The eagerly anticipated light heavyweight World Grand Prix got underway last Friday night on Showtime as Ryan Bader got his revenge on Lyoto Machida with a unanimous decision victory and moved one step closer to recapturing the 205-pound strap. The quarterfinal round continues tonight as Corey Overtime Anderson, fresh off his victorious Bellator MMA debut, welcomes Dovlejan Yagshmuradov to the Bellator cage. And the belt is on the line in the main event.
It's all over!
As former champ Phil Davis looks to avenge his split decision loss to current kingpin Vadim Nemkov, who is riding a 7-fight win streak. The quarterfinals conclude with a bang on Friday, May 7th, as Bellator newcomers Anthony Johnson and Yoel Romero collide. The Bellator MMA Light Heavyweight World Grand Prix on Showtime, where warriors rule. TGIF, thank God it's fighting. From the Mohegan Sun Arena in Uncasville, Connecticut, Bellator MMA brings you Bellator 257. Coming up later tonight on Showtime, we resume the light heavyweight World Grand Prix main event. Sees newly minted champion Vadim Nemkov defend the title in a rematch against Phil Davis, looking to become the first two-time Bellator MMA light heavyweight champion. And in another quarterfinal contest, highly regarded Corey Anderson will welcome Dovlejan Yagshmuradov to the Bellator cage. Yagshmuradov's riding an 8-fight winning streak. Also to come on the main card for Bellator 257, former flyweight title challenger Vitor Ortega takes on Desiree Yanez in Yanez's first Bellator MMA fight. And we are kicking things off with a combustible confrontation. Paul Daly, Sabah Homasi in what should be a big bang to kick off Bellator 257. We are anticipating the same here on the prelims as we are beginning with a top 10 featherweight matchup between number 4 ranked Pedro Carvalho and the undefeated number 7 ranked J.J. Wilson.
Talking about J.J. Wilson, this guy's unbelievable on the ground, but look at the power in his hands. He just obliterates Sabari in that 20-second fight. This kid has got it all. Pedro Carvalho is a veteran and is a guy that's a grinder. He comes in and he takes all that space away from you and makes you fight his fight. He is so good at transitioning from the stand-up to the ground and hunting for that submission like he gets right here against Sam Cecilia. This is a guy that can do it all and do it all very well.
All right, John, let's take a look at the tail of the tape for our first contest of the night.
Man, this is a whole contest. Look how young both of these fighters are, 25 and 23. This is the future of the sport.
With Big John McCarthy, I'm Mauro Ranallo. Here is cage announcer Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, live from Mohegan Sun Arena, we're set now for the Bellator 257 prelims, streaming live tonight on Pluto TV, YouTube, and for those across the UK on BBC iPlayer. We welcome you all as we get set now to kick off the action inside the cage with 3 5-minute rounds in the featherweight division. Introducing the blue corner. At 5'11", weighing in 146 3/4 pounds. His professional record, undefeated, 7 wins, no losses, fighting out of San Diego, California by way of Auckland, New Zealand, JJ, the Maui Kid Wilson. And across the cage, his adversary, fighting out of the red corner. At 5'11", weighing in 144 3/4 pounds as a professional. 11 victories, 4 defeats, fighting out of Dublin, Ireland. He hails from Guimarães, Portugal. Introducing Pedro, the Game Carvalho. And when the bell rings, the referee in charge, Kevin McDonald.
Kevin McDonald, your referee. So a pivotal contest at 145. Two top 10 ranked fighters. One looking to remain undefeated in Wilson. Carvalho looking to bounce back from a loss to featherweight champion Patricio Pitbull in the featherweight World Grand Prix. Carvalho in the red gloves, Wilson in the blue, and immediately Wilson explodes into the takedown. And Carvalho going to work off his back, John.
Going to work off his back. Had an open guard, went to close guard, but that was a very smart move by J.J. Wilson. Carvalho's coming in with a lot of pressure, coming forward, change levels, drop down, get the takedown, and now work from where you are so very good.
4 of Wilson's 7 victories have come via submission, controlling Carvalho on the ground, getting the hook in on Carvalho's back. Nice knee delivered by Wilson, who last month survived an armed robbery where a shot was fired, resulting in Wilson being struck by fragmentation. He says his sister, his guardian angel, looking over him, John. She committed suicide. He's a mental health advocate, and he's channeling that grief, that loss, into commitment to his craft as a mixed martial artist. You couldn't ask for a better start if you are J.J. Wilson.
No, it's a fantastic start for J.J. right now, trying to hook up that body triangle on Carvalho. Keeps on going back to hooks. Carvalho trying to peel that leg off. He's peeled it off twice before, but his neck is open, and that's what J.J. If that arm is reaching down towards the leg, there's going to be a side that's open, and you need to think about attacking it. But nice move by Carvalho. He's now switching it. He's reversed the position. Now it's J.J. Wilson off of his back. Very nice systematic work by Carvalho to reverse that position.
Carvalho has been submitted once. That was back in July of 2013 against Artur Lemos via rear naked choke, and now it's Carvalho in control with Wilson utilizing his active guard game.
Well, Wilson was trying to activate that guard. You saw him changing the angle, and Carvalho basically stuffing it down, forcing him back into this. But right now, with that head on the outside, Carvalho's limited in what he can do from this guard position. He's actually putting himself into a point where you can look at JJ actually starting to look towards locking up a guillotine. I don't think he's going to based upon the body position, but be careful of where you put your head with J.J. Wilson.
Clear that wrist. Clear your right wrist. One to your left a little bit.
Nice rubber guard position by J.J. bringing it up high. Can look towards Umaplata, but the fence right now is really creating a problem as far as being able to swing into some of the things that he's so good with.
Wilson training with Johnny Faria out of San Diego. Met when Wilson was 16. Ended up moving to San Diego from his native New Zealand, the Maui kid who undefeated at 7-0, but now being put to the test by Carvalho. But it's Wilson who is doing a great job from the bottom.
Again, look at him change the angle. He's creating these situations where even though Pedro Carvalho is in the top, he is defending most of the time. He's not able to establish any type of offense. You see JJ bringing the legs up, looking for different submissions, looking for that Umaplata to swing into, looking for the triangle. Just unable to really get that motion down right now.
Carvalho started training at Straight Blast Gym Ireland. That's the home of Conor McGregor under John Kavanagh in January of 2017. He was 5-3 at the time, has gone 6-1 since. The loss again to the current 145-pound champion Patricio Pitbull in the featherweight World Grand Prix. Of course, Pitbull will meet the undefeated AJ McKee in the $1 million final of the Grand Prix for the title. And Wilson looking to escape here, John.
Also looking for the armbar. He's got that in position. He can get this right now from where it's at. That squeeze of the knees right now. He needs to be able to control the body position of Pedro Carvalho. And he's out.
Wilson has an armbar submission win on his resume. Final minute of the opening round. Lots going on between Pedro Carvalho and J.J. Wilson.
You can work your way up too, just be sure you keep on that wizard. Lay that foot from your hip.
Just a lot of really intricate movement by both fighters, both really understanding the ground game, showing their intelligence when it comes to attacking from the bottom. Look at where the foot position is, Moro. Keeping his hips back, making it so punches are not part of the equation right now for Pedro.
Wilson started training jiu-jitsu at 16, made his pro MMA debut in June of 2018, a BJJ black belt, while Carvalho, he had his first amateur fight at 16, and 6 of his 11 wins have come via submission, so some great grappling. Some good stuff on the ground to kick off round number 1.
Stop! Clean break.
I feel good. Sit down. Sit down, sit down. No? It fight for you, you see, right? It fight for you. Just be careful. See how he's doing the same thing. We work about that, right? Yeah. With the leg over there. Yeah. You got to lock the triangle and you got to control the arm. You cannot let his arm floating over there. That's going to keep you like, okay? Good job.
Some highlights early in the first round. You see Carvalho pressuring. JJ comes right into him, gets the takedown. Actually works to the back, but it was Carvalho who was able to reverse the position. You see JJ right there trying to reverse again, but swings into the armbar. He gets good position on it. He actually has that, but he can't extend it out. Carvalho does a great job of stacking him up, being calm, doesn't pull away. Very smart technical fighting.
Round 2. Bell and round number 2, and immediately Wilson with a spinning back fist, rattling Carvalho, and Wilson is all over Carvalho. The Maui kid mauling Carvalho at the start of the second round.
Carvalho is in deep trouble. He is still rocked here. He's trying to grab hold. That is smart on his part, but he needs to get his head out of that position.
Carvalho has been stopped due to strikes twice in his fight, including in his last outing, losing his first fight here in Bellator to Patricio Pitbull, but he seems to have, well, attempted to recover, now looking for that takedown, but the elbows continue to come from Wilson.
His elbows are coming, and Pedro is still rocked. Look at him step over for that mount position.
Full mount achieved by J.J. Wilson.
Fight out of there.
Ground and pound, Wilson looking for his 8th consecutive win, and he gets it in round 2. The biggest triumph of his career. J.J. Wilson is the truth.
Hey!
And to think of everything he has had to overcome. He survived an armed robbery last month, ended up with a fragmented bullet in his leg, has lost a sister to suicide, a huge mental health advocate, and it all pours out here tonight with a scintillating victory.
You talk about starting out. Watch the start of this round. Boom! There goes a spinning back fist. It was more the forearm that caught him, but it still hurt Pedro Carvalho. You could see him get rattled by that shot. The kick comes up. He is on just rubbery legs, goes to the ground, but he does a great job of trying to control the amount of damage that JJ is able to put on him. Grabs a hold of him, puts him against the cage. That was a great shot by JJ, and then that position he tries to take him. You see JJ, once he steps over, he's got that arm in position. He opens up from the mount. You see Carvalho trying to stop all of the shots. He gets to that side, and when you see the side, referees don't like to see a guy floundering with his legs up in the air, taking shots, unable to stop those shots, and that's why Kevin McDonald comes in and puts an end to this contest.
J.J. Wilson, at 23 years of age, just stopped Pedro Carvalho. Coming into this fight, John, we had Carvalho, who was ranked number 4, Wilson at number 7. Obviously, Wilson is going to skyrocket up the rankings. Again, I cannot stress the amount of adversity and trauma that this youngster from New Zealand has had to overcome, how he has channeled all of that. Granted, with his high fight IQ, his God-given gifts, J.J. Wilson puts on a show to kick off the prelims here at Bellator 257. Let's make it official now with Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, inside the Bellator cage, referee Kevin McDonald steps in, waves off the contest due to strikes officially. 53 seconds into round number 2, the winner by TKO and still undefeated, JJ, the Maui Kid Wilson.
8-0 now. Let's go to Big John McCarthy.
JJ, that was an impressive performance. That second round, let's talk about the second round. Even though the first round was great, what about, did you plan on coming out with that spinning back fist?
So we've been working on a spinning back fist this whole camp and a few other tricks that I was looking to use in the second and third round. And, you know, I saw that opening. I saw he was pressuring in the first, and that led me to get the easy double leg takedown. So I thought, instead of shooting, because he's probably going to counter with the uppercut, to hit with the spin, and I caught him with my elbow.
It was absolutely a dead shot as far as the elbow forearm hitting. Did you know right away that he was hurt? When all of a sudden you turned and you saw him kind of taking some steps where his legs were a little stiff, and he goes back? What was the thought in your mind?
When I hit him, I saw him kind of stumble a little bit. So I was like, okay, he's hurt. So I tried to hit him with that front teep. Then that front teep landed in, and I was like, okay, now I need to finish it. And then he did really well holding the double leg. So I was trying to just get in those elbows to try to finish him with the elbows. He carried on with the takedown and wind up in the mount, and then reigned the finish.
You couldn't ask for a more beautiful second round. That was a fantastic finish. Congratulations on the biggest win of your career. You are going places. Big win for JJ Wilson.
The Maui kid was looking for that Pukana. That Pukana, is it coming? Well, we forgot. We had the power of the Pukana, the wild expression that is endemic to the Maoris in New Zealand. They know how to fight, and JJ Wilson, he got it done tonight in style. Let's go to Jen Brown at the fight desk.
Well, thanks, Maura. He did indeed. I have to assume that's going to shake up some of the featherweight rankings there. All right, well, I'm super excited to be back for the third straight week in a row of Bellator MMA. And tonight, we have a very special guest joining Josh Thompson and I at the desk. We've got our current heavyweight champ and former light heavyweight champ on his road to redemption, Mr. Ryan Bader. Welcome.
Glad to be here, guys.
All right, guys, let's talk about that fight real quick. JJ Wilson, 8-0. What did you think about that, Josh? You called it. You said this was going to be an insane fight.
Yeah, the first thing that comes to my mind is,
I love it.
That's what comes to my mind. It was a great fight, a dominant performance. Now, let's not forget, he's beaten two of the guys that were in the featherweight world title, in the World Grand Prix title. So let's just talk about the fact that he is so big, he is so explosive, and I don't even think he realized how good he is. And we saw that tonight against Pedro Carvalho.
And I loved all the scrambles. He won every scramble, but ultimately ended up put the hooks in and finished that fight.
All right, well, Ryan is here joining us at the desk. He gets to take a little break from fighting tonight because last Friday he did punch his ticket to the semifinal round of the Light Heavyweight World Grand Prix. And tonight we have two more quarterfinal matchups. Now, Vadim Nemkov will put his belt on the line in a highly anticipated rematch with Phil Davis in our main event. And in our co-main event, Corey Anderson will face the former ACA and ACB champ in Doblashan, Yagshimuradov. Now, Ryan, you're going to get to face the winner of that fight in our semifinals. Now, before we get to that fight and more tonight, I want to talk about your last fight against Machida. Now, you told us last week when we talked to you that we were going to see a different fighter inside the cage than the first fight you had against Lyoto Machida. You got it done. You got it done in spectacular fashion. How did it feel to get that one back?
It felt good. You know, redemption was on the menu for this whole tournament, and it started with Machida. And for me, it was staying patient out there, and that's what got me in trouble the first fight. And so going out there, in my head, having a rough first round, knowing that I was going to turn around in the second, third, fourth, fifth, and ultimately take away that victory.
What felt different from the first fight to this fight? I mean, like, there was a lot of movement in his first fight. He still moved a lot in this fight. There was a lot of movement in the first round. Like you said, you had a little bit of difficulty in that first round. What was different from the first time you fought him and this time?
His speed was there. It was still there. But I was able to push him against the cage a little bit, where that's where I saw my opening. I could get him on the cage and kind of corral him and use my hands to set up my shot, which pretty much happened from the second round on.
Well, it was a great performance. You are moving on to the semifinals, and tonight we will find out who your opponent will be when Corey Anderson takes off Yagshimuradov in our co-main event later on Showtime. All right, it's time for our next bout. We'll send it back down tomorrow.
All right, Jen, we are in store for more featherweight fisticuffs, and they have a tough act to follow, but I think they're up for it. Saul Rogers squaring off with the number 10 ranked Mads Bernell.
Sal Rogers is one of the strongest featherweight fighters I have ever seen. Been in the cage with any of those things. When he slides a submission on, he gets a neck, he brings it home with him. I've never seen someone get out of that rear naked choke once he has locked it on, and he has chokes from all kinds of positions, but he's going against a guy that knows submissions as good as anyone, even though you're seeing him here in a ground and pound situation. This guy is phenomenal on the ground. He is a Japanese necktie master. He has 4 submission wins by that technique, and he is just fun to watch.
All right, let's give you the 4-1-1 on this battle of 145ers.
Look at the records there, 14-3 right across the board. These guys match up so well. This is going to be a fight that has fireworks.
Here's Michael C. Williams.
For the second fight of the evening here at Bellator 257, we'll stay right here in the featherweight division, scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds. Introducing the blue corner. At 5'8", weighing in 146 pounds even, his professional record, 14 wins, 3 defeats, from Husum, Denmark, presenting Mads Bernell. And across the cage, his adversary, fighting out of the red corner. At 5'10", weighing in 145 3/4 pounds. As a professional, he too stands at 14-3. He hails from Manchester, England, Saul the Hangman Rogers. In charge, your referee, Todd Anderson.
Todd Anderson assigned the task of officiating this featherweight fight between Saul Rogers and number 10 ranked Mads Bernell.
Ready? Ready? Hey!
The bell in round 1, Rogers in the red gloves, Bernell in the blue gloves. Rogers is literally a pain in the neck. All 9 of his submissions have been via form of choke, and he immediately takes the fight to the ground, taking down Bernell in the opening 15 seconds, John.
That is exactly what Sal Rogers wants to do in this fight. It is the question of, he has been in there with submission masters, guys like Ryan Hall. I did that fight, and he just pounded Ryan Hall down. Can he do the same thing to Mads Bernell, who, this guy on his back is incredibly aggressive and just talented.
Rogers was a cast member of the Ultimate Fighter 22, went undefeated, but was cut due to visa issues. That's where he defeated Ryan Hall. Looking for that submission early here on Bernell, but Bernell equally proficient in the ground game, although he has been submitted twice.
Beautiful far side underhook to get that reversal by Mads Bernell. He's already passed to half guard. Sal Rogers needs to be very careful about holding on to that head right now. Right now, if he has him in guard position, it's great. When he starts to pass those legs, let go of the head.
The last time Bernell was submitted was via guillotine choke against Arnold Allen. That was in May of 2018 in the octagon, but Bernell here trying to alleviate the pressure, improve his position, and John, it's Rogers' corner telling him to scoot his hips.
Well, he wants to scoot his hips, get himself in a position where he's not allowing Mads to pass. You see, he's controlling that half guard position.
Bernell on a 5-fight win streak. 4 of his previous 5 wins have come inside the distance. Now working from the butterfly hooks is Rogers. Looking for that lift, perhaps. No, but Bernell.
Good extension on that knee shield.
Nice step over by Bernell, but you see that Rogers right away. Look at that left leg, brings a knee shield inside to keep those hips back.
Bernell made an auspicious Bellator debut at Bellator 248 last October, defeating Darko Banovic via first round TKO. While Rogers bounced back from being ousted from the featherweight Grand Prix by Daniel Weichel with a rear naked choke victory over RB Mezadov, as the reversal here by Bernell, John.
Well, that was a beautiful take of the back by Mads, but you're seeing that Sal Rogers not settling for the position, rolling his way through, getting up, now is back into the top position. Just outstanding groundwork by both competitors here.
Rogers with his second takedown as we've crossed the midway point of the opening round. And these prelims at Bellator 257 absolutely loaded, a plethora of intriguing matchups.
That far side underhook has been working for Mads. You see, he reached for it again. There's his hand coming up inside of it. Now just going for a butterfly hook. He's looking again. Now goes to the other side with that.
Incredible scrambling.
Beautiful job by Mads Bernell to get himself back to his feet.
And both now are on their feet. Remember, it was Rogers initiating a takedown in the first 15 seconds, just got countered with a straight right by Bernell. Bernell doubling up on the jab, and Rogers with the ankle kick, and that was as telegraphed a takedown attempt as you could see, John.
I'm sure Mads Bernell is going to look back and say, I can't believe I went down on that. But it happens, and I really like what I'm seeing with Mads Bernell as far as he was shooting that jab out. Very nice straight right cross. Both of these guys are just fighting at an incredible pace right now, Morrow.
That was a beautiful lead right uppercut on the inside by Rogers. Oh, that one was perhaps in the combat sports demilitarized zone by Bernell. But
I want you to think about it. This is MMA. It's not boxing. It's not below the belt. It's only in the groin, and that was off to the side. He can hit him there.
And Bernell with the sprawl looking for that Japanese necktie. Jalon Bates we saw last week, and of course
this could be real trouble
for Bernell. He's had 4 of them, John.
You can see the bend of his neck. It is a painful submission. It will also choke you, but he's just putting up with a very painful crank of the neck right now, and he's got himself out.
Under 30 seconds remaining in an entertaining, competitive opening round.
Nice, use that wrist control. Stay on your side, don't let him get you flat.
Bernell, a third-generation wrestler, began training at the age of 6, began boxing at 13, turned his attention to MMA at 16, and now looking to go 2-0 in the Bellator MMA cage. Ends round 1 in top position on Saul Rogers.
Good job, bro.
I need you to set up those low kick after, okay?
Here's just some of the action. Rogers landing that beautiful straight right, but then drives right into the takedown, takes Mads Bernell down, but right away, you see Mads Bernell turning that, changing that angle on it, and then Bernell gets back to his feet. Beautiful shot to the body, up top. Mads Bernell gets a nice Japanese necktie, but look at the calmness of Sal Rogers right here. I'm so impressed because that hurts. You see him just breathing, trying to relax. It is tight, it hurts. He works his way right through it. Mads Bernell realizes it's not working, gives it up.
Ready? Ready? Fight! Round number 2 of this featherweight bout here at Mohegan Sun Arena as part of the Bellator 257 prelims begins. Rogers with that lead left hook curling around the high guard of Bernell.
Boy, Bernell really biting on that feint by Rogers, and Rogers took advantage of it.
Back in the middle, Saul. Circle out.
And again, the shot by Rogers, and this time it ends up with Rogers on his back, Bernell in top position, and he telegraphs the shot. He doesn't dress it up.
Yeah, he's not hiding that takedown behind his hands, not making Bernell have to actually start to move himself. He's almost as Josh Thompson likes, he's raw dogging it. You don't want to do that because it's giving your opponent the ability to have a defense against it and actually turn it against you, which you saw Mads Bernell do.
8 of Bernell's 14 wins have come via submission. Talked about him being a BJJ black belt, won the 2014 European no-gi Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Championships. But Rogers, again, active from his back.
Keep that posture control.
Rogers has improved so much in his ability to be a jiu-jitsu fighter off of his back. Before it was more just guard up, hold on, to slow things down. Now he's actually attacking. He's actually going after things. He's creating situations where Bernell has to defend in the top position. Right now, looking for Kimura.
Brings his head up now, get your underhook.
And you know, we talk about Rogers being a pain in the neck, John. I mean, 5 rear naked chokes, a Darce, an Anaconda, an inverted triangle, a north-south choke. If it's a choke, he's done it.
If it's a choke, he's done it. And then in reverse, Mads Bernell, you talk about that pain in the neck. He tried to do it to Sal Rogers in this fight, but
a real pain in the neck.
Worked his way through.
Extend on that knee shield. Build your base. Let's go. 3 minutes, Saul.
Nice.
And good pass into side control by Mads. Bernell has over 3 minutes in which to work.
It's a lot of time, and Sal Rogers has got to figure out a way to slow down Mads Bernell's just systematic progression of jiu-jitsu that he is now starting to take control of the fight with.
Standing on that knee shield.
Nice wrist control by Mads. That's what allowed him to roll it back onto the canvas.
Bernell dropping a couple of piston-like right hand jackhammer rights, feeding Rogers some ground and pound as he tries to move to full mount.
Move your hips away.
Yeah, a lot of people are going to look and say this is mount. It's not. He doesn't have the hips over the hips. He's on top of the legs.
Now riding his back, and again, hammer fist. Peppering Rogers, trying to make life as uncomfortable as possible.
That nice little wrist grab you saw right there as he reached and grabbed the right wrist of Sal Rogers. Smart move by Mads Bernell. It's great control. That's something Ryan Bader loves to do when he gets someone against the fence.
Ryan Bader, the first participant in the World Grand Prix to advance to the semifinals, avenging the loss to Lyoto Machida last week. He's with us tonight. He'll be watching with vested interest as the quarterfinals continue. Coming up at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific, Bellator 257 on Showtime. Mads Bernell going to work here on Saul Rogers.
Beautiful shoulder pressure by Mads Bernell. A lot of people aren't going to understand how heavy he feels and how much pressure is on the neck of Sal Rogers during that little series.
Keep fighting those hands.
Bernell dominating the ground game here in the second, stands up. Rogers giving up his back again against the fence, though, and Bernell continues to try to soften up Rogers, looking for a potential submission.
And he's got it right now. He's got that arm in position. He's locked up the right way. He was going palm to palm. He can get this right now. That is tight.
And that's it. Mads Bernell records his 9th submission win, improving to 15-3 and 2-0 in Bellator MMA. The number 10 ranked Mads Bernell just submitted Saul Rogers. Rogers tapping out for the 3rd time in his career. And in fact, the last time he was submitted, he didn't get the tap because he went to sleep.
Yeah, he did. And right here, you saw once he got that arm around the neck, he didn't go for the lock. He went palm to palm and squeezed, and it's the ability to press in with the chest, have a big chest to bear, create that squeeze that even though it's not locked, it's so tight, you're either going to have to tap or nap.
Rogers was forced to tap to an arm triangle choke, went to sleep due to a guillotine choke, and now, for the first time, tastes defeat courtesy of a rear naked choke as Mads Bernell, with mad skills, improves to 2-0. Both wins coming inside the distance here at Bellator MMA. Bernell talked about wanting to show the world that he is one of the top guys in this division. Came in at number 10 and earned an impressive victory. Representing Art Suave and Extreme Couture, Nikolai Kupti is head coach. Dennis Davis and Bellator veteran Mikel Parlo also part of his team. You know, Martin Kampmann was the first Danish fighter to make a mark in MMA. Mads Bernell appears to be the next. Let's go to Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, the tap comes by way of a rear naked choke, officially 4 minutes, 8 seconds into round number 2 by submission. The winner, Mads Bernell.
Let's go to Big John McCarthy.
Oh my Lord, Mads Bernell, that first round had me so excited. You guys were going all over this cage. You locked on a Japanese necktie, which is normally your go-to submission. Did you think you had it?
Yes and no, because when I got a hold of Saul, when he first tried to engage the clinch with me, I'm like, holy, this dude is like fighting a rhino or something. And then when I got the Japanese, I could feel that he was smart and his coaches was actually coaching him the correct way to gut it out. So I was like, okay, if I stay here, I'm gonna gas, stay on top, and grind him out.
Well, let's get to that next round, because you go and that finish, you go to this back, you then loop the arm. Did you even think about going to the lock, or you said, no, I'm going palm to palm with that choke?
I think I thought about doing the lock, but I think with MMA gloves, it's super hard to get behind the neck, so just palm to palm. And I felt that I could feel him like slowing down his pace. And that was actually the game plan this whole camp, because he's a physical specimen. So it would be like, put the pace on him, be on him, make him do all the work, and when he's ready for the pick-in, that's when we take him.
Well, I'll tell you what, that's two fantastic finishes in a row. That was an unbelievable fight. Congratulations on a big-time victory. 2-0. Who do you want next?
I know the guy is sick right now, but Daniel Weichel, with all respect, I hope you come over your COVID situation, and I would like to share the ring with you.
That sounds like a great matchup to me. Ladies and gentlemen, Mads Bernell.
Mads Bernell with a knockout and now a submission during his Bellator tenure. 2-0 in the Bellator cage, 14-3 overall. A featherweight fiesta to kick off Bellator 257 prelims. With more, here is Miss Jen Brown.
Well, thanks, Mauro. All right, two fighters will advance to the semifinals of the light heavyweight World Grand Prix and move one step closer to the $1 million prize. Now we have Ryan Bader has already advanced to the tournament, and he will face tonight's winner of the Anderson and Yagshmuradov co-main event. And in our main event, we've got a highly anticipated rematch. Vadim Nemkov will put his world title on the line against Phil Davis. Now, when we talked to Phil Davis this week, he said that he is approaching this fight, guys, just like any other fight. It is a rematch of a close, split decision loss for him, but he's not thinking about that. Bader, you are 3 for 3 in rematches. Is that the right mindset heading into a rematch?
Absolutely. You can take what you need from a previous fight, but that was almost 3 years ago. And in 3 years, a lot of things can change. And if you're expecting a certain fighter to come into that cage and a different one is there, it's going to mess up your mindset a little bit.
Well, Josh, since that loss, it was over 2.5 years ago, Phil Davis has been on a tear, right? He has just really looked good inside the cage. What adjustments or improvements have we seen in his last 3 fights?
Well, what adjustments we've seen is not so much the adjustments he's going to have to use tonight. What he needs to do is make sure that he utilizes his wrestling, as we're going to see right here with that he used against Liam McGarry. He's putting on the pace. He touches you with his long reach. He's letting you know that his striking is there, but his overall wrestling and grappling is what makes him one of the best fighters in the world, Bader.
Yeah, totally agree. I mean, he does have some great kicks from the outside, a good overhand right. Ultimately, he's looking to go in there, clinch you, and take you down.
Well, one thing I want to ask you guys, because we've talked about this a little bit leading into this fight, is that Phil Davis has fought in those championship rounds. He has been in he's gone to the 5th round, in 3 fights. Vadim Nemkov has only been to the 3rd round 3 times. So if this fight does go into those championship rounds, Josh, does that play to Phil Davis's favor, I would assume?
Absolutely. And the other thing as well is, like with Nemkov, we saw in their first fight that he really was getting tired in that 3rd round. And then Phil has already said that he plans on picking up the pace in the wrestling and attacking like he did in the 3rd round. He had a lot of success there. Do you think that's the right way?
I do. I think Phil has to come out a little more aggressive in the first couple of rounds and at least get one of those rounds. And then I believe he will take over 3rd through 5th. And if he has a round in the bag, that's a win for Phil.
Now, when we talked to Nemkov this week, he talked about training in the mountains in Russia. He said that he's really stepped up his cardio game. I've never done that. I know you guys. What does that do in terms of, I understand the altitude, but how much does that help a fight game, going to that higher altitude and how the effects that it has in the cage?
Well, it helps your conditioning, helps your cardio, but what it mainly helps, though, Ryan, is your mental.
Right here.
It makes you feel like you are on the next level. Okay, I'm ready. I've done all the work. That, and then also for a lot of wrestlers, it's the weight cutting.
Yeah.
So it's like that last little bit. So when you're done doing all your cardio and you're done doing the weight cut, you're ready to fight. So for him, I think that's the feeling that he's prepared better for this fight than he did before.
Yeah, when you're in there and you're tired and you know your opponent's tired, and you might even hear it from your coaches, hey, remember the mountains, the work we put in. You remember that, how hard you worked, and it pushes you through those hard moments in the cage.
I gotta love those Russian mountains. I wonder how tall they are. All right, well, Team Fedor is in full effect here at the Mohegan Sun Arena, bringing not only, of course, the champion of Vadim Nemkov, but also his older brother, brother, Victor. Now, there are 7 championships between the two of them, and I have to say that's a lot of gold for one household if you think about that. Very impressive resume, obviously, both of these guys training under Fedor Emelianenko. And to break down Victor's Bellator debut, then let's go ahead and head over to our UK correspondent, Gareth Davies.
The elder brother of Bellator light heavyweight champion Vadim Nemkov makes his debut in Bellator tonight against Sweden's Carl Albrektsson. The 34-year-old Team Fedor fighter has 13 of 30 wins by submission, and there is deep family pride at stake here. Why? Well, King Carl earned a split decision victory over Vadim Nemkov 5 years ago in the Rizin Championships. So Big Bro will be looking to put the record straight against Albrektsson. The Swede, though, is a powerful striker and a very dangerous finisher. Can Victor Nemkov avenge defeat over his brother Vadim tonight and cement his place on the stacked 205 Bellator roster? Or can Albrektsson impress enough to find a place as a reserve for the light heavyweight Grand Prix? The perfect story. It's back to you guys at Mohegan Sun.
All right, Gareth, thank you very much. Carl Albrektsson looking for his first win in the Bellator MMA cage, welcoming the debuting Victor Nemkov, who was unbeaten in his last 4 fights. John, take us through the numbers for this light heavyweight tilt.
You're looking at 2 very big, strong guys here. The big difference, look at the age right there, 27 to 34, and the record 10-3 compared to 37-1. Nemkov with a lot more experience.
Here's Michael C. Williams.
Tonight here at Bellator 257, our featured weight class, the light heavyweights. And let's go there now. Set for 3 5-minute rounds. We'll introduce first the blue corner at 6'2", weighing in 206 pounds even, with the legend looking over his right shoulder. He makes his Bellator debut, entering with 30 professional victories, 7 defeats, 1 draw, fighting out of Stonic, Russia, presenting Victor Nemkov. And across the cage, his adversary, fighting out of the red corner at 6'2", weighing in 205 3/4 pounds. His professional record, 10 wins, 3 losses. He fights out of Stockholm, Sweden, King Carl Albrektsson. And your referee, Mike Beltran.
Veteran referee Mike Beltran will oversee this light heavyweight contest. Albrektsson looking to move to 1-1 in Bellator MMA. Nemkov looking to make a statement in his Bellator MMA debut. The bell in round 1. Albrektsson in the red gloves, Nemkov in the blue gloves, and in Nemkov's corner, the last emperor, the GOAT when it comes to heavyweights, Fedor Emelianenko. And what a crew he's put together.
He's got a fantastic fight team.
Stiff jab by Nemkov.
You're going to find out in the beginning of this fight, Nemkov has the advantage in speed. He is a quicker, faster fighter, but Albrektsson does have the advantage in power.
And Nemkov's younger brother says he'll have the advantage in speed over Phil Davis in their rematch when they meet in the main event of Bellator 257 for the light heavyweight championship in the quarterfinals of the $1 million World Grand Prix. Albrektsson looking for the takedown. Immediately, Nemkov secures his neck.
And he needs to be very careful with this right now. But Nemkov is very good with the guillotine. He can switch it up to a variety of different holds.
Nemkov has 3 guillotine choke wins on his resume. 12 of his 30 victories have come via submission.
You see him starting to put a lot of pressure on that right now.
Albrektsson has never been submitted.
Nice job by Albrektsson, just remaining calm, keeping his head pushed against Nemkov, delivering little knee strikes to give him a problem. He wants Nemkov to squeeze on this right now. He wants him to get his arms full of blood, lactic acid, make him heavy. That's going to help him in the fight.
Albrektsson bounced back from his loss to Phil Davis in his Bellator debut in October of 2019, coming off a TKO victory in his native Sweden. That came last November.
Nemkov again trying to put pressure on that hold. Leaning back with it. But you can just tell by the hand placement, by Albrektsson keeping his hands in that S grip right there, he's not having a ball with it and brings him down to the ground. He needs to be careful. those legs can help extend on that guillotine. He needs to keep that weight driving forward. A lot of pressure.
Nemkov told us this fight would end by submission, looking to do so in the first round, looking to make a memorable first impression in his Bellator MMA debut.
Well, he's making a memorable impression, but this might not work
on Albrektsson
the way he's thinking, because Albrektsson is just staying with this. He's not able to finish it, and all of that squeezing is going to wear on his arms. His arms are going to be heavy for the rest of this round. This is a good position for Albrektsson. This is where Albrektsson does his work. He loves being in the top position and just working a heavy ground and pound.
Albrektsson, a former ice hockey player, looking to shoot and score with his strikes or submissions here from the close guard of Nemkov, coming up on the final 2 minutes of the first frame. 5 of Albrektsson's 10 victories. Half of his wins have come via form of knockout. 8 of his 10 wins have come inside the distance, so an aggressive 205er.
Watch your head, Carl.
Slashing elbow strike across the bridge of the nose.
That is not something that feels good, and you're going to see Albrektsson go to that elbow strike a lot. He loves delivering elbows. Wasn't able to do it when he was in the Ryzen organization. He's very happy he gets to do it here because he knows that it does damage.
Under a minute and a half remaining in the first round. Albrektsson with some elbow strikes from short distance and wrist control by Nemkov, and Albrektsson continuing to diversify, attacking the body with the elbows.
Right now, that wrist control is not working for Nemkov. And one of the things, you know, when you talk about controlling wrist, when you have someone's wrist, they can still deliver that elbow like you're seeing Albrektsson deliver right there.
Under a minute remaining in the opening round. Nemkov started the round with an attempt at a guillotine choke. It ends up with Nemkov on his back, and Albrektsson now looking to score points with the judges by continuing to deliver those shots, those elbows, and not every punch is the same, not every strike is the same, but if it connects, it scores, John.
Next to a legal area, it's a good strike, but all of them are different, and the judges they're tabulating that out in their heads, which ones are the most effective. Nice backhand by Carl Albrektsson coming right back into guard.
Final 20 seconds of the opening round on a night where the light heavyweights take center stage in the quarterfinals of the World Grand Prix coming up later tonight on Showtime. You are seeing 2 205ers go at it here on the Bellator 257 prelims. The debuting Nemkov, the 0-1 Albrektsson in the Bellator cage.
Jättebra. Kostade jättemycket energi på honom. Submission i giljotinen som han hade kostade jättemycket. Bra jobbat, Kalle.
Меня убиваешь. Витя, не давай локтем бить. Посечет тебе, не давай работать. Хотя бы блокируй руки.
Вначале попал. Хорошо, на руках он был быстрее. Сейчас попал. Как он был. Go, suck us out, mouthpiece in. Suck us out.
Соберись.
Watch your head, okay? Big go. Back, back. Back. All right, gentlemen, second round. Ready to fight. Ready to fight. Handle, let's go.
This is round number 2 in the Bellator MMA light heavyweight division. King Carl Albrektsson in the red gloves, the Bellator MMA newcomer. Victor Nemkov in the blue gloves. Nemkov brothers in action tonight. Always got to be tough, John, when you have a sibling competing on the same card. Body kick by Albrektsson.
I always wondered how difficult it is when you're watching your brother, your sister, your son. It's got to be horrible in the fact that you want to be out there with him in this position right now. You're seeing again going back to grabbing the neck. This is not good for Victor Nemkov. This is exactly what Carl Albrektsson wants. He wants to bring the fight to the ground. He wants to take away any of the athleticism that Nemkov has and just use ground and pound.
You've just watched the MMA version of Groundhog Day. Round 2 beginning the exact same way as round 1, but this time Albrektsson escapes a lot sooner.
He gets it to the ground much sooner.
And his head is
exactly,
released.
and that head is released because the arms are tired. You can see even in the corner. I was watching in the corner. You saw them try to shake out his arms. He's looking at his arm. He's shaking it. It's telling you he squeezed hard and it had an effect.
You know, Albrektsson told us, hey, obviously I'd like to knock him out. I think it's probably going to be a grueling 15-minute war with the most determined guy being victorious, and blood already now on the face of Nemkov.
Yeah, Albrektsson opened him up with the elbow. And just these little slicing elbows, they don't look like a lot, but the elbow it's a bone. It's hard. It hurts. And even little shots.
Ask Lyoto Machida how much the Ryan Bader elbows hurt last week.
See, right now, look at the arm position of Nemkov. Not searching for underhooks, not doing anything with those arms because those arms are filled with lactic acid and they're heavy right now, and he's just in a position he's trying to breathe to get that oxygen into those muscles. It's tough position right now for Victor Nemkov.
Albrektsson telling us that Nemkov has a tendency that when he gets tired, he stays flat on his back.
As you are seeing right now, but it's also Carl Albrektsson that's keeping him flat on his back. Albrektsson doing a lot of good work here, and you're seeing that the posture of Albrektsson is starting to change. He's starting to actually posture up a little more, meaning that all those elbows are getting a little bit harder.
Nemkov trying to get back to his feet. Meanwhile, Albrektsson mixing up his offense with punches and knees.
That needed
taking away the leg. Sorry, John.
That knee to the body was well done and placed just beautifully.
And energy being expended here by Nemkov to get back to his feet. He does so. Albrektsson leaning on him against the fence.
Saw that big breath of air by Victor Nemkov. That is telling you he's a fighter. He's getting tired.
Of course, in Russia, high altitude training in the mountains where that should boost your conditioning. I know Fedor Emelianenko always had an endless gas tank, John.
No doubt about that. You know, he went through so many fights. Rounds sometimes, one round sometimes.
And those 10-minute rounds in Japan for Pride Fighting Championships. Now it's Nemkov with the jab on Albrektsson.
Nemkov really should just look to stay to the outside of Albrektsson, use his length, use that jab.
And there is the last Emperor looking on. So many incredible moments. One of the greatest heavyweight title fights ever in 2005 in Japan against Mirko Krokop, the man who came up with the blueprint to defeat who many thought was undefeatable at the time, the great striker Mirko Krokop, as Nemkov and Albrektsson striking here in the final minute of round 2, John.
Albrektsson had landed a very good kick to the body, and then Nemkov responded with that inside kick to the inner thigh. That hurts.
Nice body shot by Albrektsson, but the Nemkov landed upstairs.
And as you're watching the comparison here, every time this fight gets into that phone booth, you're seeing Albrektsson land good shots. Every time it's in range, you're seeing that Nemkov is being able to land better shots.
So, the final minute taking place in the stand-up here of this light heavyweight battle at Bellator 257. And speaking of stand-up fighting, Saturday, May 15th, 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific, Showtime Championship Boxing returns with a triple header presented by Premier Boxing Champions. Undefeated super bantamweights going toe-to-toe for gold. The 31-0 Luis Neri puts his title on the line, attempts to add 21-0 Brandon Figueroa's secondary belt to his collection. This one has all the makings of a barn burner. Luis Neri against Brandon Figueroa. Someone's has got to go. Saturday, May 15th, 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific, Showtime Championship Boxing.
sista ronda.
Here's the little inside shot right by Albrektsson, bringing the hand over, the elbow shot. That's what ended up cutting Nemkov. Little tiny shots here. That's the swinging, slicing elbow. You see it on the bridge of the nose.
Third final round. You ready to fight? You ready to fight? Let's go.
Third and a final round here in the Bellator MMA light heavyweight division. How do you have it after 2 rounds, John, on your unofficial scorecard?
Well, right now, I believe Nemkov needs a finish or he needs a huge round. I have Albrektsson up in both the first and the second round. He gets them both 10-9, so you got to see something out of Nemkov.
Albrektsson changing levels, but
he's got that.
And again, scoops him up for the takedown. And again, Nemkov attacking the neck.
And you need it. You got to look and say, have you not done that once? Have you not done that twice? Has it worked for you in these situations? Well, then let's go to something different in trying to defend that takedown.
He needs to ask Bill Murray how Groundhog Day turned out for him, John.
Yeah, something like that.
Opening minute of the third and final round, and Albrektsson now trying to posture, trying to keep delivering those elbows that have paid dividends, cutting up Nemkov. Has Nemkov pinned to the cage now. Trying to bust up his face with these slashing elbows.
And no doubt Carl Albertsson's trying to bring back the memory of Mark Coleman here, the godfather of ground and pound, because he is just putting in work.
Shout out to the Hammer. He and Fedor Emelianenko cross paths.
A couple of times.
And Albrektsson trying to carve a successful path here in Bellator MMA, utilizing these short elbow strikes.
Nemkov really needs to do something to getting his back off of the canvas, just like what you had brought up. Albrektsson said after watching him, when he gets tired, his back stays flat on the mat, and you are going nowhere with your back flat to the mat. So he's going to have to start to do something big time to get himself out of here.
Ground control, complete dominance by Albrektsson as he looks to perhaps move to side control. Nemkov, a combat Sambo world champion. John, quickly, difference between Sambo and MMA.
Well, when you're talking about Sambo came from the military. It was the military form for the Russians to utilize self-defense, and then it grew into combat Sambo, which is the sporting aspect.
How can he utilize his Sambo background now to try to reverse his fortunes here against Albrektsson?
Well, right now you're seeing him, see where those legs are placed right now. That's not going to get him out of the position where his arms are and everything. He's going to have to start to hook that leg inside, start to elevate the hips, start to get the underhooks, and he's doing none of those things. Right now, really what he's doing is at times holding wrist. Now he's trying to punch a little bit with the pressure on top of him.
Got to be careful where he places those punches.
But he's not doing anything to take and either reverse this position or get himself back to his feet.
Referee Mike Beltran watching intently as Albrektsson stays busy with these short strikes. Another elbow lands.
You can take a look at the strike stats here. 47 of 90, over 50%, 52% there. Nemkov landing 27 of 54, but those are from his back for the most part, which is telling you gravity is on the side of Albrektsson. He's landing the heavier strikes.
You know, we talk about those 10-minute rounds in Japan as Albrektsson drops another elbow. He was victimized by Jiri Prochazka in a fight that lasted, well, 9 minutes and 57 seconds at Ryzen. So his conditioning has been tested in the past as well.
Well, it has. You know,
under a minute left here in the fight.
One of the things people need to look at, you're seeing both fighters strike here. You're seeing Nemkov from the bottom with these strikes, but the judge is going to give the emphasis to the fighter that is striking with more power, and there's no doubt that the elbow strikes from Albrektsson are outdoing the arm punches that Nemkov is deploying right now.
Albrektsson representing Pancrase Gym, Sweden. Omar Bush, Ludwig Albrektsson His regular training partners, Khamzat Chimaev and Alexander Gustafsson, who he's trained with in the past. Of course, a man very well known for his success. But Carl Albrektsson content to ride out here the third round, continuing to deliver these short strikes, making them count on the debuting Victor Nemkov. Final 10 seconds of this light heavyweight encounter, and Nemkov and Albrektsson are going to the judges' scorecards.
There's no doubt, if you're taking a look at that, in my mind, I got Carl Albrektsson winning all three of these rounds. This, in my opinion, is a 30-27 fight. And this is what you're looking at when you're talking about a fighter that just goes after his game plan. That's what Carl Albrektsson did. It was a smart fight. He delivered. Very, very big victory for him.
If that is the case, Mr. McCarthy.
If that is the case, you're so right.
We're here at the Mohegan Sun Arena.
Here is the start, and this was that guillotine that Nemkov was trying, and Carl Albrektsson takes it, puts him down. There was a lot of squeezing by Nemkov, but none of it was in an ability to stop the fight or put Albrektsson in a way where he has to really defend against it. And Albrektsson just started using his ground and pound, elbows inside. When a fighter's grabbing the wrist, one of the things you can do is, even though he's grabbing the wrist, you can turn that elbow over. That's something that guys that don't work with elbows a lot have to learn. And I think Nemkov got to learn that tonight.
Utilizing that elbow grease. Oh, a tough night at the office for the first Nemkov brother. Let's find out who won this light heavyweight tilt. Here's Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, having gone the distance, we'll go to your three judges. At cage side, your first, David Peabody, 30-27. Doug Crosby, 30-27. And your final judge, Dave Torelli, 30-27. All have it for the winner by unanimous decision, King Carl Albrektsson.
King Carl Albrektsson crowning the debuting Victor Nemkov with a series of elbows, and he grinds out the unanimous decision win. His first under the Bellator banner. He is now 1-1, 11-3 overall, and Victor Nemkov tasting defeat in his Bellator MMA debut. He drops to 38-1, and now it's up to little brother to carry the family name tonight. Let's go back to Jen Brown.
All right, well, thanks, Mauro. Tonight, kicking off our main card on Showtime at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific, we have Paul Semtex Daly, where he takes on the sleek chic Sabah Hamasi. Now, with a combined 25 first-round knockouts between them, trust me, you are not going to want to miss this when we go live. Here's to break it all down is our expert across the pond, Gareth Davies.
Thanks, guys. Renowned British knockout artist Paul Daly will be looking to thrill as ever in a rescheduled bout with Sabah Hamasi, an American of Lebanese descent, with the sleek chic on a 4-fight win streak, having told me previously that Daly may be dangerous with his hooks and his knees, but if he lands on the British veteran, it will be lights out because he's chinny. Hamasi, also known as the Punisher, can back his power up with 10 knockouts from his 15 career victories. Daly, who once served in the same British Army regiment as Prince Harry, is coming off a knockout win against Sad Awad and has said to me he will be hunting Hamasi down. This is one of those fights where you dare not blink as two destroyers collide. Highlight reel knockout coming up.
Well, Paul Daly will finally face Sabah Hamasi to kick off our Bellator MMA coverage on Showtime at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific, and that is just one of 4 incredible fights we have coming your way. Lots to look forward to, but let's get one step closer to our fights. Mauro, back down to you.
All right, Jen, thank you very much. We get set for lightweight action. The undefeated Lance Gibson Jr. meeting Marcus Surin.
Lance Gibson Jr. is an outstanding athlete. This is a guy that grew up in the sport with his dad being one of the pioneers of MMA. He gets it. He understands position. He understands when to turn it on, when to put on the power. He grinds out a big-time victory in his Bellator debut. This made him 3-0. And we get to see him again tonight.
All right, let's take a look at the numbers here. The tail of the tape for this lightweight matchup here at the Bellator 257 prelims.
You just got to be honest about everything. It is the young guy, 26 years of age, against the elder statesman in Marcus Surin. Does that age make a difference?
Honesty is the best policy, and honestly, one of the best at what he does, Michael C. Williams.
For those watching us tonight live throughout the UK on BBC iPlayer, we welcome you once again here to Bellator 257. The prelims continue now. We go to the lightweight division set for 3 5-minute rounds. Introducing the blue corner. At 6 foot, weighing in 155 1/4 pounds. His professional record, 6 wins, 2 losses. From Spring Valley, New York, Marcus, the Blueprint Surin. And across the cage is adversary, fighting out of the red corner. At 5'10", weighing in 155 pounds even. His professional record, undefeated. At 3-0, he fights out of Port Moody, British Columbia, Canada. Fearless Lance Gibson Jr. In charge, your referee, Dan Murgliata.
Dan Murgliata is the referee for this lightweight matchup. And Big John, you and I have been involved in so many firsts. I believe tonight, the first time a stepson and a stepmom have appeared on the same card. Former featherweight champion Julia Budd, the future attraction on the prelims coming up later tonight. There she is, watching Lance Gibson Jr. in the red gloves, Marcus the Blueprint Surin in the blue gloves. And there's a lead overhand left by the southpaw, and Gibson already attacking the body with that beautifully executed body kick. And what about that footwork, John?
That's what, and this is what you got to understand. You can sit there and people are going to say, well, you know, Marcus Surin has more experience. No, he does not. You're talking about someone that lifetime of martial arts.
Started at 2.
Exactly. I mean, he transitions for a young guy so well. And everything he does, you go, wow, you do that well. Wow, you do that well. Everything this guy does well.
Yeah.
You almost get to the point with the looks that he has and everything, you go, I don't like you.
Gibson has been training for 23 of his 25 years.
Nice knee inside again. Look, the attack on the liver with the kick, now bringing the knee up to the same area. That's just, that's a fight IQ. It's, let me attack that same area over and over, and eventually that is going to be something that's going to get sore, and you cannot defend against it. It's going to put you in a position you don't want to fight.
Surin came to the MMA party late, started training at 30, now 38. Started wrestling at 12, wrestled at NCAA Division I Clarion University, was team captain his senior year. College teammate, former UFC lightweight champion Frankie Edgar.
So you just saw the calmness of Lance Gibson there. Marcus Surin is a good fighter. I have watched him numerous times. He is a good wrestler. He's got a great ground game. He's long, and he's actually fast in the stand-up. But he's going against a guy, you're looking at that next level of fighter, and it's so tough when you're all of a sudden put against that guy who is, he's the future.
Another 3 little short elbows by Ross. Beautiful defense on the takedown here. He went to Arizona State University, the same university our current heavyweight champion, guest analyst Ryan Bader went to, planning to wrestle, but he decided to pour his focus into mixed martial arts. And he is looking good to start this matchup.
And Marcus Surin got deep on that takedown attempt, and it was just a systematic breakdown of that attempt by Gibson. Just took his time, relaxed, and it's how relaxed he's fighting that makes you really go, wow, for 25 years of age, that's just impressive.
And again, he is 25, Surin is 38. Midpoint of the opening round, and a lot of jockeying here as on the exit there. Surin with a slashing elbow, body kick to the liver by Lance Gibson.
That was a really nice elbow on that exit by Surin, but you're seeing Lance Gibson say, oh yeah, let me give you something back.
Chin down, hands up, please. Let's go, buddy. Hands up high.
You see the power of the kicks on the legs, taking the legs of Marcus Surin out.
Lead kick. Surin has never been knocked out. Nice lead right uppercut, left hand body kick. Lance Gibson Jr. showcasing that IQ, the education he received under the learning tree of his father. His father, 190 pounds, fighting at super heavyweight when there were no weight classes, 30-minute time limits. You remember those days well.
I do. That was a beautiful straight left hand that landed for Lance Gibson. That hurt Surin.
Get off the cage right now.
Teed by Gibson, backing Surin up.
Circle out now. Let's go. Make space. Come out to the center. Make space. Get back to your body.
You look at the lineage of this. Yes, it is his father, Lance Gibson Sr., who I actually refereed long ago. But it's the tutelage going.
There he is on the left with his wife, our former featherweight champion, Julia Budd. Sorry to interrupt, John, but I bet I know where you're going. Something to do with a wizard?
Something called that. Matt Hume is a guy that, you know, that was the guy that was the instructor for Lance Gibson. So what he learned and how he transfers that knowledge over, you're seeing in his son right now.
And you're seeing it in a 25-year-old professional mixed martial artist in his 4th fight. All 3 previous bouts have ended inside the distance, and he is putting on a nice display here of his striking skills with 30 seconds left.
Marcus Surin just took 2 left hands straight to the jaw.
But he's still standing.
I am so impressed that he was able to do that. He has got a chin because those were solid.
Get a leg, off the feet. Side position. Control inside.
Final 10 seconds of the first round. Ty Plum with a Muay Thai knee up the middle. Of course, his stepmom, Julia Budd, the only woman to beat Gina Carano in Muay Thai. And what a nice display of his overall striking acumen for the 25-year-old Lance Gibson Jr.
Just absolutely incredible when you think of the plethora of techniques we saw, Morrow. He was doing everything out there.
Good.
Deep breath.
Okay. Hey, just pick him apart. Be patient, and then the power comes, okay? Don't knock his head off right away. Like music.
Deep breath. Deep breath.
Deep breath.
Look at some of the things that occurred in this round. Here is the elbow on the exit.
Elbow.
There's a nice right hand return by Lance Gibson, but that was a beautiful elbow by Marcus Surin.
He's forcing the lockup. That's what he's forcing.
There were some big shots. Nice left hand right there that lands flush on the jawline of Marcus Surin.
1-3-2 there. Okay.
Right hand lands. You can see it takes him off balance.
Angles.
How close is the Gibson family? Did I mention Julia Budd is fighting later tonight here on the prelims?
Yeah, you did.
She is in the corner.
That's awesome.
Of Lance Gibson Jr.
She's not going to sit in the back.
All right, second round. You ready? You ready? Let's go, Dylan.
You want to know how tough Julia Budd is? That's her training partner.
Bell, number 2 round underway here, and immediately Gibson again attacking the body of Surin. Surin countered, though, with a nice right hand.
That was a nice right hand.
Nice outside leg kick by Gibson. Just his technique, the footwork, the placement.
And just look at how he can switch from orthodox to southpaw. He does it effortlessly, and then he just flows into the next technique.
It takes 2 to tango. Talk about adjustments you would like to see Surin make.
You know, right now, if I was Surin, he's doing better when he's at that closer range. He was at least bringing some elbows inside. And right now, that left hand, he has got to start moving towards his left side and get away from the power of Lance Gibson.
Surin closes the distance, but pays for it immediately with a counter strike from Gibson. Gibson going back and forth, orthodox to southpaw, and has really found a home for that left kick.
Yeah, he has. And against Surin right now.
Oh, what a slip of the counter right by Gibson. Oh, and an eye poke. But wow. Maybe when he was slipping it, John, that's what it caught.
When you're in range, keep your hands closed. Okay? Stay here, on the corner. Accidental eye poke. Yeah. All right?
Here's a replay of that moment. Oh, there it is right there. The right hand. It wasn't that left. It was the right hand. When you saw it come down, the fingers were open. It raked the eyes, and that's what caused this eye poke.
And again, you talk about fighter IQ more right now. He's not complaining, not saying, he's just taking his time.
Well, he said his ability to be patient and precise is what has allowed him
there it
to
is
be
right
so
there.
successful.
You saw the right hand come down from Marcus Surin. It wasn't that punch. It was the right hand before when it was open. It kind of just raked down on his eye, and the finger went in the eye.
His overall in-cage acumen at this point belies his age, and it talks again about his lineage, his pedigree, where he's from.
So. Enough contact. How much time we got?
Well, it's up to you. He has up to 5 minutes. That's your time.
John, clarify.
See, I can see you clearly out of this one. All right, it's a little foggy out of this one. Yeah. Okay, do you think you could continue? That's fine. All right, you have up to 5 minutes.
Okay, that was that's a good use by the doctor and the referee. They have up to 5 minutes in conjunction to allow him time. Now, if the doctor right now said, oh, he can continue, the referee doesn't have a choice. Now the fight's going to start. But with what the doctor said is, okay, you're seeing a little bit. Let's give you some time. You got up to. We have 5 minutes. Let's use those 5 minutes to get
2 minutes into the allotted.
So let's use that 5 minutes so you can clear your eye and get to the point where you're at least as close to 100% as we can be.
When you say you can't see, what is that? I can pull over to you. Okay, you say, look, can you continue? Yeah. Okay.
You heard the exchange between the doctor and Lance Gibson Jr. Can you continue? Yeah.
All right, please. That's your hard water. Okay, time in. Let's go fight.
And if you want to be the next billionaire, create a better MMA glove. Lance Gibson Jr. in the red gloves, Marcus Surin in the blue gloves, and it doesn't appear to have stifled his momentum whatsoever, John, as Lance comes out firing.
I'll tell you, Marcus Surin has taken that left kick to the liver multiple times. He is trying to move to the left. You can see he's actually, and Lance Gibson is cutting that movement off.
Surin training with Renzo Gracie Academy, heavy hitting, fitness, and boxing. Also spends time training at Nick Catone MMA and Nick Newell MMA. So he has a lot of great sparring partners, a lot of great coaching, but he's in with a young up-and-coming fighter who just chopped Surin down.
And just look at the maturity of, didn't get excited, doesn't jump into a...
I got more excited, John.
Exactly. That's what is so impressive about Lance Gibson Jr. Look at these strike steps. Morrow, 55 of 100.
I can't drive 55, but Lance Gibson Jr. sure can, and he is absolutely lighting up Marcus Surin in the striking department. Kicks, wow. And a lot of them, those liver kicks, John.
Exactly. A lot of those kicks have been very hard.
Straight right, down the middle by Surin.
Beautiful straight left hand. And then switches to orthodox. Here comes the right.
There's the collar tied up. Now the Muay Thai plum. Creating enough distance, delivering a knee to the breadbasket. Gibson now pinning Surin along the fence, has his back. Wants to introduce him to a horse named Charlie momentarily and continues to pepper the leg with those knee strikes.
And using his head, pushing Marcus Surin's head to the side. Marcus trying to come back with a Muay Thai plum.
Not a lot of distance, not a lot of space.
But when you're talking about utilizing that Muay Thai plum, you need to create distance.
Yes.
And when the fence is up against your back, you can't do that.
A minute and a half remaining in the round, and we are midway through this lightweight battle between Lance Gibson Jr., 3-0, including a victory in the Bellator MMA cage against Marcus Surin, who is 6-2, 2-2 here in Bellator.
Nice job of Marcus going to the body. Nice job again. He's digging.
Surin goes to the body again with the right. A minute remaining in the second round. Waistlock employed by Gibson. Oh, standing switch attempt by Surin. They're on the mat.
What are we talking about?
Nice sprawl by Gibson.
You got to think, look at all of the training that Marcus Surin has done on the ground, from his collegiate days in wrestling to being a Renzo Gracie brown belt. This is a guy that knows what he's doing when on the ground.
Elevate, elevate.
Watch your arms.
Go inside, avoid the shots.
And
Elevate
Gibson told us that Surin's greatest strength was his wrestling and his jiu-jitsu flow. Hasn't had a chance to really get into the flow thanks to this tenacious attack by Lance Gibson Jr.
No time to wait. Just keep touching. 15 seconds.
He's got a Turk on that leg on the right side. Just riding the hips heavy. You can see Marcus Surin trying to control that wrist with the glove. It's not easy to get your hand away at times.
Great. Good job.
Okay, so what do we do? You're gonna pick this guy apart like you're doing. Pick him apart. Don't rush the elbows, he'll be there. His head, he's leading with his head, but from the inside, he's clinching onto you. You have to work your outside strikes. Looking beautiful. Looking beautiful. Come angles.
Let's take a look at just some of the footwork of Lance Gibson Jr. There's the kick to the liver that we've seen multiple times throughout this fight. Again, brings it up a little bit higher. Nice return by Marcus Surin. That inside leg kick, you can see what it did. Just taking that balance point out, actually almost turning the ankle of Marcus Surin. The kicking game has been a big tool for Lance Gibson in this match.
And as we arrive at round number 3, Marcus Surin's going to have to dig down deep to avoid the first 2-fight losing streak of his career. And this is 9th professional fight. Surin in the blue gloves, the undefeated Lance Gibson Jr. in the red gloves. Immediately, Lance Gibson Jr. with an inside calf kick to the lead leg of Surin. And he is definitely doing his best to befuddle, bedevil Surin by switching stances fluidly.
And he's just missing some of those. You're seeing him taking, he's looking for the counters off of Surin. Watch his movement, he gives the feint inside, he waits for a return from Surin, and then he launches that attack.
And Surin with sloppy shot that's easily defended by Lance Gibson Jr. Now looking for a choke.
Going for right now that anaconda choke. You see that arm coming from the neck, going in through the, across the chest, outside of that shoulder. That's telling you that's an anaconda, but he has already let go of it.
Gibson has a rear naked choke victory in his professional debut against Sterling Lenz back in December of 2017.
Watch this week. Watch this week. Watch this week. Dump him. Keep eating the legs. Watch the elbows. Watch back elbows. Dump him.
Fingers out of the cage. Thank you.
Okay, relax. Keep the legs down.
Surin trying to open up, again, create that space, but hard to do when your back's up against the fence.
He's going to be elevated here right now. If he's putting a lot of weight down on Gibson, I say, so much weight, just bring him down. You can see that Gibson was thinking about trying to elevate him up. Surin was having nothing of it. Again, brought a really nice knee right into the midsection while Surin's on the ground. Totally legal strike. Just shows that he's thinking all the time.
2 minutes gone in the final round. And running the pipe with a single, Gibson Jr., but Surin attacking the neck. Both of Surin's submission wins have been via arm triangle choke. He's on his back here against Gibson.
2.5 minutes left.
Gibson needs to be careful of that up kick when you decide to come up like that. Anytime we're coming in with the corner on the ground, you want to think hips are before that face.
Nice lead left hand by Gibson, just missed. Inside leg kick to the lead leg by Lance Gibson Jr., really diversifying his attack. No predictable patterns, John.
No, he's just switching it up. But you got to give it to Marcus Surin. Look at Marcus Surin going after him. There is no quit in him. He's taking a lot of heavy shots, but he keeps on firing back.
There we go, nice.
And he's got steel placed inside those ribs on his right side.
Get high. Hands up tight.
Surin looking for the ankle pick. Was looking for that single. Gibson immediately trying to take his back, but
You can find an inverted triangle here.
Watch on top, watch on top, watch on top.
Stay on the back.
Too low now. Both arms are outside of it.
On top, Junior. Figure four there. Watch that shin, Mark.
Surin now has Gibson's back. Minute left in the fight. Surin drags Gibson to the canvas.
Can you imagine if Marcus Surin could find a submission here? 50 seconds left.
45 seconds.
45, Marcus. Lower on the back and every heavy hip.
Gibson looking for that backdoor escape. Surin fishing for the submission with time running out. 30 seconds now left in the fight.
Surin winning that position. You saw all of that leg movement. He was trying to hold the hooks. Gibson was trying to get rid of him.
Surin looking for his third submission win. Looking for that Hail Mary with 15 seconds left. And Lance Gibson Jr. Surin looking for the guillotine.
Yeah, he's trying to twist it on tight now.
Come on, Junior, let's go.
Should think about the knee.
Two lightweights go the distance. And Lance Gibson Jr. surviving some adversity in the final moments of the fight, and quite a performance for the youngster, just 25 years of age in his fourth pro bout.
Boy, he looked really good, especially through the first two rounds, but I love the fact that he actually had some adversity there. That's good in him coming up as a fighter. You got to have those moments. You could take a look at these fight stats. 89 strikes landed by Lance Gibson Jr. 28 of those by kick. Had some nice takedowns. This was a good, tough fight by Marcus Surin. He just didn't have quite enough in the toolbox to stay up with the young gun.
Lance Gibson Jr. telling us that he's totally an artist, not just a fighter. It's not called mixed martial fighting, it's mixed martial arts, and at the end of the day, he wants to represent himself as an artist, paint the canvas, and I won't say it was a masterpiece, but it was a beautiful drawing. I know he's capable of a masterpiece, I'm sure, at the age of 25. All right. Let's get the official decision. Here's Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, for the decision, we'll go to your three judges at cage side. Your first, Brian Miner, scores at 29-28. Well, judges David Peabody and Dave Torelli both see it the same, 30-27. I'll have it for the winner by unanimous decision, and still undefeated, fearless, Lance Gibson Jr.
And Lance Gibson Jr. going to enjoy the next fishing trip with Dad as he hooks his fourth consecutive victory to begin his professional career. 2-0 now in Bellator, forced to go the distance the first time, which is definitely an experience that he needs at this stage of his career as he celebrates with his dad and his stepmom, Julia Budd, who is going to be facing Diana Silva in our prelims feature coming up. Let's go back to Jen Brown.
Well, thanks, Mark. Gotta love the family affair there. All right, coming up later tonight on Showtime in our co-main event, it's a fight that Ryan Bader's probably going to pay a little extra attention to tonight. We've got Dovizhan Yakhshimuradov. He is making his Bellator debut. He is taking on a newer addition to the Bellator roster as well, and Corey Anderson. Now, Josh, when we saw these guys at weigh-in, you'll see there, looks like Anderson's got a little bit of a height height advantage there, a couple of inches, maybe a few, but the thing I think that stands out that's pretty significant is the reach advantage he has over Yogs.
Yeah, it's not just the reach advantage, but it's also the speed, I feel. And then on top of that, what that's going to do is that's going to make it a little bit more dangerous for Yogs to try to get in, because Corey's got the reach and the speed advantage, which means he's going to have to overcommit on things, which is going to make it easier for Corey to get in on the takedown. You like to wrestle, Bader, so let's talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what he's looking for Yakshimuradov to come in with that big, fast right, overhand right, and come right into Corey's takedown. Gonna get him on the ground, get that top position, and rain down blows until he wins that fight.
Well, Anderson said he wants to make a statement tonight when he comes out in his second Bellator fight. In his first fight, hey, man, he came out and made a statement over Melvin Manoff.
Yeah, he did everything he was supposed to do, though. He had the feints, he had the twitches, he had all the things that he needed to do, but the wrestling was the key, and that's exactly what he needs to do tonight to Yakshimuradov. He needs to get in that clinch, he needs to hang on him, use his bigger body to bring him down, tire him down. As you can see here, once he gets on top, he's a dominant force. And Ryan, you've trained with Corey Anderson, so you know how good he is on the ground, you know how good his wrestling is. Talk to me about it.
Yeah, he obviously definitely has great wrestling. A great top control, but I think his biggest attribute is his conditioning. They don't call him overtime, for no reason. He puts in extra work, and his cardio is top notch, and that's what I feel he's gonna use to win this fight tonight.
Which is a very rare thing when you get into heavier guys.
Sure.
You get into that 205 and heavier weight classes, the conditioning is always a factor. Do they put in the work? And he always does, like Ryan just said.
Well, his opponent tonight, Yakshimuradov, he's known for kind of being the guy that bounces around, uses the cage, but he's coming in relatively unknown. Now, he's on an 8-fight win streak, so we don't want to count him out in any way. He's just not really known. What is it like to face a guy like that, Ryan, when you don't really know a lot about your opponent maybe coming into a fight?
There's not a lot of film on him. There's very few fights. He's quick, and he throws a hard overhand and a hard low kick. So that's what you got to watch out for. That's all I know from him.
All right, well, we look forward to that one. It's going to be a great matchup. All right, Mauro, back down to you.
All right, we are set for action in the welterweight division. They are running it back. Raymond Daniels, Peter Stonic, after one of the most devastating accidental low blows I've ever witnessed.
It just hurt me again, and it happens twice. 5 seconds after that fight was restarted, he was hit with another spinning back kick. He could not continue. I don't know how anyone could.
All right, well, let's take a look at the numbers for this welterweight rematch.
Everything matches up very well here. A little bit of a difference in the age there. The reach, Ray Daniels wants to be on the outside, and you're going to see Peter Stonic trying to march him down.
Here's Michael C. Williams.
Tonight here at Mohegan Sun Arena, the Bellator 257 preliminary card continues now with 3 5-minute rounds in the welterweight division. Introducing the blue corner. At 6'1", weighing in 170 pounds even, his professional record 4-4 by way of Killeen. He fights out of San Antonio, Texas, Pete Stonic. And across the cage is adversary, fighting out of the red corner. At 6'2", weighing in 169 3/4 pounds, the world champion kickboxer. As a professional mixed martial artist, stands at 2-1, fighting out of Orange, California, the human highlight reel, Raymond, the real deal, Daniels. And the referee in charge, Todd Anderson.
Referee Todd Anderson set to officiate this 170-pound matchup. Raymond Daniels has something in common with my broadcasting partner, former police officers. While Peter Stonic, well, he has something in common with Raymond Daniels, both with a kickboxing background, both competed in Glory Kickboxing, and we are kicking off this Bellator MMA matchup with Daniels in the red gloves and Stonic in the blue gloves. And man, having called many of Daniels' kickboxing fights, John, he does things with his feet that make dance choreographers envious.
Boy, he does. That was a very nice body kick by Stonic. The one thing about Ray Daniels is all of the movement that he creates, everything that he does takes a lot of energy. And in a 5-minute MMA round, it is tough to continue on doing these things over and over. Stonic has watched the people that have beaten Ray Daniels before, guys like Nicky Holzken, and he sees them march Raymond down, and he knows that's what he has to do to try to be that guy that can get into Daniels and get a victory.
Daniels went 35-3 as a kickboxer. His only losses are to, well, former Glory champions in the aforementioned Nicky Holzken twice and Joseph Valtellini, but it's like he's a cheat code. He's his own joystick in a video game that we are watching. And Peter Stonic, he's got 5 knockouts to go with his 5 victories. So this one has the, well, all the hallmarks of ending in highlight reel fashion, almost on cue. And in kickboxing, Daniels has 12 spinning heel kick victories.
That's because he's, oh, that was a hard kick to the body. That knee came up. That hurt Stonic badly.
What a kick that was. Knee, and Stonic is staggered.
I'm glad that spinning heel kick missed.
Raymond Real Deal Daniels all over Peter Stonic.
Stonic not doing anything, just covering up. He's got to try to at least do something to show that he's intelligently defending here, do something to stop what Raymond Daniels is doing or make him change it up. There were 2 hard shots that Stonic was hit by, that knee to the body and then one up to the head.
Daniels, considered the GOAT in sport karate, wants to show that he is capable of being as exciting and as talented inside the Bellator MMA cage, and he is strafing Stonic with strikes, but Stonic standing right in front of him, the southpaw, but unable thus far to find any opening. He has weathered the storm like a parka.
Stonic has taken some big shots, but he was very successful. That one straight left hand did strike and land on Daniels. He just needs to settle himself down.
Side kick lands for Daniels,
and there's such a
lighting him up with that combination.
There's such a difference in Ray Daniels when he kicks and the power that he puts on it. That left kick and his spinning back kick, all of them have incredible power because of the speed that he generates.
Oh, knee up the middle by Daniels, who says all he wants to do is impose his will and give the fans something spectacular.
Their knees.
Right on the hook up. Right on the hook up. Watch for him to break and bring back inside.
Just past the midpoint of the opening round.
Stonic hanging tough in this fight. Now back in at least in the stand-up position where he's able to deliver some of the strikes of his own. Made it through a really bad situation there.
He is undefeated in pro kickboxing, 7-0. But this is MMA, where he is 5-4 with 1 no contest. That coming in his Bellator MMA debut against Raymond Daniels, running it back here. Final minute of the first. And it has been the Raymond Daniels show.
Check those rings. Good answer.
It normally is. Every time you watch, look at that beautiful
and the takedown.
Beautiful trip by Raymond.
Watch it, watch.
Ending up a little bit high now.
I know Mark Munoz will be pleased with that. Of course, training with Mark Munoz. Tyler Wombles, his striking coach, the former assistant of the esteemed Rafael Cordero at King's MMA. And now we get to see Daniels' ground game.
Well, you just saw a good job of Daniels realizing the position he was and sliding his leg, just looping it back, controlling the arm of Stonic. He's, you know, so much when he first started in MMA, did not have an idea.
Stonic looking for that armbar attempt, but
no time.
The bell will go to end round 1.
Easy, easy, easy. There we go.
Watch some of these strikes. That knee to the ribs was devastating. Spinning heel kick, catches him to the back, then with a flying knee, comes up the middle, lands in the middle of his face. All these different techniques, and this is what makes Raymond Daniels who he is. Look at that beautiful spinning back kick right to the ribs again. Beautiful trip. Raymond Daniels is becoming a complete mixed martial artist.
And Peter Stonic possessing some stones, surviving that onslaught and going for the armbar at the end.
He can handle that too.
He did go for that armbar. I love that from Peter Stonic.
Sit on it, all right? You get in there and you fucking do this shit.
Doc wants to see it.
Are you okay? All right, do you want to continue? All right. I don't want you taking a lot more punishment like this. Okay, you gotta watch you. All right, all right.
Okay, you're taking a lot through the hands. I'll allow it because your hands are still there. But you gotta move for me. All right, here we go. Here we go.
Let's go.
Peter Stonic has never been knocked out.
You ready? Ready? Hey!
Bell and round number 2, they touch gloves. And they will try to touch each other now in a more violent way. And, whoa, karma?
Well, there was a return of the strikes. Raymond Daniels not having the same...
Sure you're okay? Yeah. You ready? All right, timer. Hey!
Raymond not having that same effect as far as when that strike is going, able to accept it. Beautiful spinning heel kick.
Heel kick there, and again in kickboxing. 12, but now Stonic looking to light up. And look at the defense of Raymond Daniels.
Not one of those hits.
Yes, get back in.
Beautiful, just head movement.
It's almost a little Roy Jones Jr. in the attitude up top. Of course, we're talking the boxing, but just the way he was able to avoid that offense.
Swing it, boy.
Straight, long right jab by Daniels, and then the calf kick.
And this is what Raymond Daniels can do, even when he's not utilizing all that movement, man. He is so quick with his hands, so elusive, hard to hit.
Start feinting on it.
And this is 40 for Daniels, 40 years of age.
And I want to bring up what you saw at the beginning of the round, Moro, when you saw the doctor coming in talking and the referee. What did the referee say? I'm not going to let you take it.
Another takedown by real deal Raymond Daniels.
And the referee said, I'm not going to let you take a lot of damage. He's setting up the fact, and he's telling the corner, hey, I'm not going to let your guy take a lot of damage so they can't complain later on.
You expect a couple of takedowns from Raymond Daniels?
I never expected in my life to see Raymond Daniels taking anyone down, but he's doing a great job, and that's showing. You know, we've seen him in the ground and pound when he fought Jason King, and he's in this position now. The fact that Raymond Daniels is fighting off submissions, being on his knees, throwing shots from the guard. Sometimes you think, never thought I would see that.
Well, Stonic has to go into overdrive if he wants to make his prediction come true. He said he would stop Daniels in the second round right before the 3-minute mark. He was that precise.
There's some big elbows being thrown by Raymond right now. Those are landing with a lot of power.
Yeah, Daniels more precise than Stonic's prediction.
Hand off the head, control the head. Your head up, Ray. Get him off your head.
Daniels needs to posture up.
Let's start looking to pass, Ray.
His corner wants him to pass, and meanwhile, Stonic again looking for that arm bar.
You go to the
now into the triangle. And a shot from the bottom, so Stonic showcasing an active guard game from the bottom. He has been submitted twice.
We know he's coming. Kick.
Was looking for his first submission as a pro as they're back up on their feet. Man, again, that spinning back kick right to the midsection. Lead knee by Daniels. 3 minutes have elapsed here in the second round.
Use her on the hook. Yes, good. Ease. Attaboy.
Hands up, throw it low. He's walking. Touch him when he's walking. Go to the calf.
Stonic starting to bury his head when he's seeing Raymond starting to throw. Be careful of what you're doing. Raymond's very quick with bringing that uppercut.
The hips.
Another takedown secured by Raymond Daniels. He's yet to really make it count with the takedown because it's been Stonic with the submission attempts from the bottom.
Well, he's had those, but you also got to count the elbow strikes that you watched Raymond Daniel land. Those have been effective. It's when Raymond starts to get a little too comfortable. Look at trap
centralizing the left arm. So his IQ as a mixed martial artist continues to grow as Stonic controlling the posture of Daniels.
And again, look at Daniels going back, basically a crucifix position here. Landing a nice elbow. He needs to keep that elbow going.
Daniels with a steady diet of elbow strikes.
That's the type of technique that will end this fight. You keep on landing heavy elbows.
Stonic is being stunned by this series of elbow strikes, trapped
Nice.
And Daniels keeping him on his back. 30 seconds left in the second round. Daniels looking for his third victory as a professional mixed martial artist.
Remember what that referee said at the beginning of the round. I'm not going to let you take a whole lot of shots. Well, he's letting him take a whole lot of shots.
He's taking a whole lot of elbows, 18 and counting.
Nice. Elbows again, that's it. And pitch it down with your head, go. Take it home.
Stonic has no way of stopping these elbows right now.
And Daniels wants to stop him before the bell.
Move, Pete. Move. You made it. You're good.
Raymond Daniels looking up like, are you going to stop him?
You're good, brother. Just...
Well, the corner of the medical staff may take that away from Daniels. Let's listen in.
It's all right.
There's no
Take a
power
deep breath.
behind
Deep
it.
breath.
I understand. There's no power
Stand
behind
with you, so he's trying to take you down. Okay? It's all right. This is your last round. What do you want to do? You got to give it your all right here, right? You know what we came for, champ. Okay?
Got to get that bleeding stopped, or I'm going to stop the fight. If you can't get that bleeding stopped, it's over.
Hey, let me dab it just a little bit.
Fucking hurts.
We got to get it stopped, all right? Take a deep breath.
The body language of Pete Stonic does not look
Take a deep breath. It's okay. It's okay. Take it. It's all right. He's almost there. Let him do his job.
Seconds out.
like he wants to continue.
Seconds out.
Let's go, champ.
Well, when you had your nose wrapped by elbows and then someone squeezes it, it's not a comfortable feeling.
Well, he's on his feet. He's a gamer. And Peter Stonic, 32 years of age.
You need to protect yourself.
In his 11th professional fight.
Volume. You ready?
With real deal Raymond Daniels. I'm sure he'll try to seal the deal here in the third round. Good sign of sportsmanship, but it's back to fighting we go.
Knee tap.
And one of the things that you're looking at right now, Stonic now has to even consider defense of the takedown. He's been taken down multiple times in the second round. That was something he wasn't coming into this even thinking about. It was about, how do I stop Raymond Daniels in the stand-up? Now I got to stop Raymond Daniels from taking me down.
If you want to see Raymond Daniels at his ridiculous best, check out Glory 16 in Denver back in May of 2014 when he hit the knockout of the century, they called it, against Francois Ambang.
Get that underhook high.
A jump side kick followed by a midair spinning heel kick. It didn't look real.
Because it wasn't.
A minute gone here in the final round, and there's a spinning back kick that again connects.
That was almost a mixture of a hook kick with an axe kick combined.
Yes.
Step over his leg.
Hey, where's that right knee? Right knee.
Take him over, take him over, take him over, take him down here.
Right, exactly.
There's the takedown again.
Beautiful job by Ray Daniels. He felt the pressure. He knew exactly where he could go. Block the legs.
Timely takedowns.
Beautifully done.
In every round, he's secured a takedown and showing new wrinkles in his mixed martial arts game.
Well, you have to give Raymond Daniels so much credit for being a supreme martial artist, a guy in karate tournaments that just beat everybody.
It's like the Harlem Globetrotters and the Washington Generals, that one score we saw.
It is
unbelievable.
He went into kickboxing, incredible record. And to then take and say, I'm going to put myself into mixed martial arts. Just an incredible martial artist.
He's a striking savant who has added wrestling now to his game under the tutelage of Mark Munoz, an incredible camp, and continues to show his growth as a mixed martial artist, while Peter Stonic, he continues to show his toughness.
Raymond Daniels is finding out, I like the half guard. This is a good position.
Pull it down.
Pitching down on that leg, posturing.
Pull down the wrist for a big one.
Trying to land big shots.
Desperate strike there from Stonic.
But it landed.
There you go, nice.
Midpoint of the final round.
Bounce that right elbow, please. Look to staple his arm.
Daniels first came into prominence as a member of Chuck Norris's old World Combat League. 17-0, fought Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. So he's really done it all in terms of the stand-up fighting arts. And here, he wants to show he's a full-fledged mixed martial artist, and we're seeing that, John.
Yeah, he's done everything, and you watch, he's going right back to the trap in the arm, getting into that crucifix position. He's actually controlling the right arm. Stonic
with his head and his arm combined, pinching down on the left arm with the leg. You're going to see him go back to that because he's been effective at moving to that position.
Nice. Posture, give me a big one. Posture, give me a big one. Yep, big
Coming
one.
up on the final minute and a half of the fight, all Raymond Real Deal Daniels, ground and pound on Stonic. Stonic again looking for that arm bar, looking for the Hail Mary.
Clear your head. Get him off your head. Posture in.
Posture.
Inside. Inside hand.
When you're watching Raymond Daniels, you see when his hands go to the ground, you're hearing his coach posture inside, swing your arms inside. He wants to control with his arms to the inside of the biceps, posture up and land big shots just like that.
Big ones, Ray. Yes. Cross grab after that.
Well, Stonic has proven to be durable again, has never been knocked out. Under a minute remaining now in this fight.
Yes, yes, yes.
Right now, Raymond Daniels could heal out Stonic. And that's because he's not looking at, he's not feeling the whole game right there. He had the ability to pass. He took too much time. He gave the tell, and Stonic brought him back over, got the reversal.
And Stonic has to make hay here, 30 seconds. He has to let go of everything within his power to try to get this fight to end with 20 seconds left.
Right now, Raymond Daniels should bring those feet
and he's
to the
doing
hips.
just that.
He should bring the feet to the hips. Don't try to hold on to him. I want to create a problem. I want to extend him out. There you go.
And an escape by Daniels.
Very nicely done by Raymond.
And Daniels in top position to complete an impressive outing for the kickboxer turned mixed martial artist.
Good job.
All right, let's go to Michael C. Williams.
Sorry, Dad. Non-stop for 3 full rounds, and we'll go now to the scorecards. Your first judge at Cageside, Dave Torelli, scores it 30-26. Michael Murtha, 30-27. Jacob Montalvo, 30-26. All have it for the winner by unanimous decision, the human highlight reel, Raymond, the Real Deal Daniel.
And highlights included some takedowns for Raymond Daniels. He remains unbeaten here in Bellator MMA. Let's go back to Jen and the gang at the fight desk.
All right, well, thanks, Mar. Lots more fight action coming your way. Later on tonight, though, on Showtime, the night's going to kick off with knockout specialist Paul Daly. He's taking on Sabah Homasi. Now, 43 knockouts between the two of them, you guys, okay? Paul, of course, we know he's got that left hook that is a missile. So are we going to see the same Paul Semtex Daly that we've grown to love tonight, Josh?
I never had any power throughout my career, so I'm a little jealous, to be honest, between the two of them. This is great. I mean, he's patented highlight highlight reel left hook, he's made his career off of that. And I'm surprised that more people haven't learned how to defend it. But it's not just the highlight reels of his left hook. Flying knee knockouts. He's learned how to stuff takedowns. He's nasty on top, as you're seeing right here. Also, he just got his black belt. He feels very comfortable fighting off of his back. And some of the best wrestlers in the world have had a hard time taking him down, Ryan Bader.
Yeah, when you're a wrestler, when you're going against that kind of power, you know, it puts a little doubt in your head. And you have to close that distance and get in the right distance to be able to get your hands on them. But you're getting hit, kneed in the way. And so this is going to be fireworks. 33 knockouts. It's crazy.
Fireworks, that's right. And let's not forget, Homasi, he's also known for his knockouts as well. So let me ask you, Josh, is this a fight that he maybe wants to keep fighting, you know, standing on the feet, or should he maybe look to be a little bit more complete?
What I've seen from Homasi, though, lately is the maturity of being a fighter. He has learned now that just standing is not always the best way. You see the vicious knockout power that he has right now, but it's not just that. He has now started implementing his wrestling, and his top position is good as well. But what he's done now is you see his ground and pound is nasty. What he's done, though, is he's mixed up his wrestling to get people to start thinking about the wrestling, and that opens up his hands. And you know, Ryan, that can be some of the best ways of getting knockouts.
100% mixed martial arts. Knockouts are fun, right? But winning is also fun. So we might see him go do some wrestling, you know, some jiu-jitsu in this fight.
Well, the one thing is, though, is that Ryan can attest to this, winning solves everything.
It does solve everything. That is right. Well, Homasi told us, hey, look, this is the biggest fight of my career. No doubt he wants to come in and really get it done tonight, huh, Big John?
No doubt about that, but we have got a fight for you coming up. DeMarquise Jackson against Gracik Binion. Highlights of DeMarquise. This was his fight against Bryce Logan. He was all over him throughout this fight. Look at him landing big, heavy shots. This guy's got power. He's got a good ground game. They call him scrap iron because he is made of iron. He just keeps coming forward the entire fight. He is fun to watch.
All right, let's go to the numbers for this welterweight matchup here during the Bellator 257 prelims.
Tail of tape here is very simple. 10-4 against 11-4. Both of these guys are big for the 170-pound division, coming from 185. It's going to be an interesting matchup.
Here is Michael C. Williams.
For those joining us tonight on YouTube, either Showtime Sports or Bellator MMA, we welcome you. We thank you for joining us as we go now to the welterweight division set for 3 5-minute rounds. Introducing the blue corner. At 5'8", weighing in 170 3/4 pounds. His professional record, 11 wins, 4 losses, out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, the Marquez Scrap Iron Jackson. And across the cage, his adversary, fighting out of the red corner. At 6 foot, weighing in 170 pounds even as a professional. 10 victories, 4 defeats, fighting out of Sepkar, Armenia by way of Yamnoye, Russia. Introducing Gracik Blackstone Binion. In charge, your referee, Mike Beltran.
All right, set for 3 possible rounds
back it up.
in the welterweight division.
All the way back, all the way back, all the way back. All right, gentlemen, first round. You ready to fight? You ready to fight? Head on, let's go.
Mike Beltran, the referee. Gracik Binion in the red gloves. DeMarquez Jackson in the blue gloves. And a fast start by Jackson, who is looking to move to 2-0 under the Bellator banner, while Binion fishing for his first victory in Bellator MMA.
That's 3 heavy leg strikes right off the beginning of the match. Big right hand by Jackson.
Jackson has only 2 of his 11 victories via form of knockout. Binion has 4 knockout victories, 6 submissions. Jackson has 5 submissions, but they are throwing heavy letter here in the first minute, and now Jackson didn't like what he tasted from Binion, looking for the takedown.
Jackson getting hit with a big shot, tried to close the distance, got into Binion, now has him up against the cage. We'll see if he's able to finish this. Right now, he's in a position that he's got to get his hands together, and wasn't able to do it.
Brazilian ending up in top position. Jackson active on the bottom, looking to shrimp the hips, looking to escape, but Brazilian with heavy top pressure. Brazilian looking to snap the first two-fight losing streak of his career.
Brazilian doing a really nice job with an overhook on that right arm. It's the left arm of Jackson that he's controlling. That's what's keeping Jackson down.
Jackson, a BJJ brown belt, but forget the colors of the rainbow, John. Shed some light on the colors of a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu belt. What does a brown belt mean?
Well, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you're going to start at white belt, go to blue belt, purple belt, brown belt, and then black. So if you're a brown belt, what it's saying is you know all the techniques. You've been taught everything. It's a matter of your transitions from one technique to the other that is the only thing that's separating you.
For Brazilian, all 10 wins have come inside the distance, 7 in the opening round.
There we go.
Jackson looking to scramble.
Jackson trying for that elevator with that left leg underhook. You saw Brazilian, heavy hips, keeping himself on top. Jackson's given up that hook.
Brazilian started training at the age of 13. Made his pro MMA debut in May of 2012. Only been to the judges once in 14 pro fights. And, well, that happened in his last fight against Austin Vanderford at Bellator 234. Way back in November 2019.
Yeah, that was a very rough fight for Brazilian as far as he was not able to control the position. It was Austin Vanderford who basically took him down, stayed in the top position, and just used ground and pound to get that win. You see Brazilian controlling that leg of Jackson. That's going to keep Jackson there. He's got to free that leg, or at least be able to swing his right leg underneath him so he can get to a standing position. Very nice movement by Brazilian. The only problem he has is that fence is actually keeping him in a point where he cannot control his balance well based upon he can't go forward very much based upon the cage.
Brazilian with the Lionheart team in Moscow as Jackson against scrambling, looking to get to his feet. Both on one leg.
Yeah, both. Well, Brazilian going for the Uchimata as the throw, and you see DeMarcus pitching down on that leg, trying to hold position.
And now it's Jackson on top with a minute left in the first round.
Nice timing by Jackson. You saw Brazilian go for the Hunter Ghost throw. Jackson drove him straight down into the mat.
All these Japanese judo terms, you remind me of the time I called Muay Thai in Canada using all Thai terms. Bok choy, sok klab. 35 seconds left here in the first round.
There we go.
Nice jab through the guard by Brazilian.
That was a
Sweeping
nice
right hand by Jackson. And the calf kick to the lead leg of Brazilian by Jackson. Final 15 seconds of the first round.
Brazilian if they stay in the stand-up, he has got to find a way to start checking that kick.
They're just swinging for the fences here in the final seconds of the opening round. Quite the battle between Jackson and Brazilian.
No stool. Put your hands on my shoulders. Put your hands on my shoulders. Breathe a little bit. Relax. Let me feel that heart rate drop. Hey, you're good. Let's take our time. Look at me. Let's take our time. Let's be a little bit more patient on our feet. You can touch this guy up. You can touch this guy up a lot, okay? If we're going to change levels to attack the leg, let's make sure we stay on the leg, okay? Only go up to the body if you have to, but when we do, get strong there. Use your head, good head position and work, yeah?
These leg kicks by Jackson have been super effective. He has got power on those. He has landed them time and time again, and they gave Brazilian a lot of problems. It was when Brazilian was able to take him on his feet, but look at that beautiful right hand twice by Jackson.
Hold it back, hold it back.
Big shots landed.
Second round. Ready to fight. Ready to fight. Have him. Let's go. Alert.
Well, round number 2 in this welterweight matchup. Bazinian in the red gloves, Jackson in the blue. And again, Jackson attacking the lead leg with those calf kicks.
I think Jackson has been so successful with that right leg kick. He just needs to keep on going back to well. Just be very prudent in when you do it.
And there's Bazinian with the changing of the levels right into the takedown. 30 seconds into the second.
And that is why I said be prudent with it, because you do not want Bazinian to end up taking you down. Now you're on your back. Now it's time to work ourselves back to our feet. Bazinian wants to keep him in this position. If he can get to a half guard, that's going to help him in keeping Jackson flat on the mat in a position where he has more trouble getting back to his feet.
Bazinian training with the likes of two-time and current Bellator MMA middleweight champion Gegard Mousasi. While Jackson trains with the likes of Gilbert Burns. High-level training for both fighters.
You got to figure Jackson is fighting out of Sanford MMA. He's got so many guys there to train with that are just top level.
Henry Hoof's hired guns.
When you're talking about Gegard Mousasi, Costello Van Steenis, the monsters that are out there that Bazinian is training with, they're both getting handled at times in the gym in ways that just make them better as fighters.
There we go.
A nice example by Jackson of showing what just one little leg, controlling that leg, having that hook, and being able to move it just upsets the balance of your opponent, keeps them from striking.
Work your way up, Marquez.
Under 3 minutes left here in the second round.
Work your way up, Marquez.
Bosniev working from top position. Jackson controlling posture. But Bosnian has that open left. Raining down strikes.
Work your way up.
Scramble by Jackson.
Nice job by Jackson to get his back to the fence, but Bazinian's been very heavy on top, able to control that leg. You see him with the Turk there, driving his head into Jackson's head, trying to drive it down towards the canvas.
Terrible Turk if you're Jackson, feeling all of this pressure and the weight of Bazinian. Doing a good job of controlling that left leg, and
that's why he's pinching down on it. Jackson does have the ability, if he can get to his foot underneath him with his hand, he can get himself at least back to close to standing up and just start to power his leg out of that position. But Bazinian is putting so much weight forward on him that he's having a hard time doing it.
Jackson's gone 2-2 since he made his successful Bellator debut at Bellator 204 in August of 2018, defeating Bryce Logan VSD as he pummels here now with Bosnian as Jackson's on his feet momentarily and lots of energy being used.
That beautiful job by Jackson at digging that underhook, but gets reversed on his takedown attempt by Bazinian.
And Bazinian back in the guard of Jackson. Final 60 seconds of the second round.
And you can see that Jackson is landing those shots, but when Bazinian then opens up and lands a couple of his own, you can just see the difference in the power of it.
Right there. You got 30. Right there.
Good job of Jackson bringing that foot up on the hip.
Gracik Bosnian has only fought past the second round twice. It looks like in this fight against Marquez Jackson, he will go to the third for the third time in his career, controlling from top position Third and final round is upon us.
Let's go.
So coming up, 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific on Showtime. It's Bellator 257 featuring the continuation of the light heavyweight world Grand Prix. The champion Vadim Nemkov defends the title for the first time against Phil Davis in a rematch. Davis looking to become the first 2-time light heavyweight champion in Bellator. And then Corey Anderson welcomes Yagshimuradov, Dovoljan Yagshimuradov to the Bellator cage. Anderson 1-0 in Bellator. Yags has won 8 in a row ahead of his Bellator MMA debut.
Mouthpiece. Mouthpiece. All the way back.
So both fighters going to be digging down deep.
Third and final round.
Third and final round. Gracik Bosnian in the red gloves, DeMarquez Jackson in the blue gloves. John, take us through your unofficial scorecard after 2 rounds.
Right now, I have this thing even. I think that in the end, Jackson got the first round. He landed the heavier shots. He actually hurt Binion in that fight. Second round definitely goes to Gracik Binion. So I think we have an even fight. So who wants it the most? Who's going to go after it? Who's the guy that tries to finish this fight?
Well, just the third time that Bazinyan's been in the third round. But DeMarquez Jackson spent a lot of time on his back, and fatigue appeared to be a factor as he shoots in for the single. And gets lit up with that left hand.
Fatigue was what I was looking at the end of the second round. You saw him on his back, and you saw him actually opening up his guard, but he wasn't doing anything. But it's because he's tired.
Are you able to will a second win, John?
You know what? Second wins come, and if that is all based upon the training that you've done. You'll get tired, and then all of a sudden you'll start to feel just a little bit better once you get just that 1-2 breath in there.
You fight here. Get the shoulder position back. Give him nothing.
But you can see the pressure that Binion brings. He's putting a lot of pressure on DeMarquez, and he's trying to make DeMarquez's arms heavy by hanging on him. All of that is just burning energy on Jackson.
How's your Russian, John?
It's outstanding. And what he said is, you're looking good right there. Just keep doing what you're doing.
Get your foot down. Pull the elbow to your chest. Left hand elbow to your chest.
Well, we can hear from Jackson's corner.
Can you get your shoulder to his chest? Pull the elbow to your chest.
Elbow to the chest.
Yeah, what he's trying to do is turn the position, but right now with where Bazinyan's at, with that shoulder towards the middle, the sternum area of Jackson, Jackson's going to have to move his feet instead of just turning his upper body. He's got to turn and move his feet to try to turn Gracik into.
Hardcore MMA fans can appreciate what is happening here against the fence. Yes, not the most riveting, not the most compelling, but the amount of work that is being put in, the amount of energy, these little micro battles that are taking place, John.
That is exactly what it is you're talking about. This is the grind. This is where...
Wow, what a reversal by Jackson.
Jackson goes and
takes his back, looking for the rear naked choke.
That's what I'm talking about.
An incredible reversal by Jackson. And the neck crank here, John.
Well, he's got Binion where Bazinyan's uncomfortable right now, but Bazinyan's going to be able to keep himself at least in the fight if he mentally stays tough, because the choke is on the jaw. It's more pain than anything. It won't put him out, but he's got to work his way through it.
And Jackson looking to take advantage here now, continues to ride the back of Binion, looking for his third. Looking to hand Binion his third submission loss.
And that was a very smart move by DeMarquez. A lot of times fighters are going to try to hold the position, realizing it's starting to slip. I'm going to try to hold it. He didn't. He ended up changing, gets the back right now.
He has 2 rear naked choke victories. The last coming in August of last year.
Getting a little high.
Get out hooking.
Looking to get the other hook in.
Yeah, he wants to get hips to hips, and you can see how far apart those hips are right there, Marl. That's telling you he's not in a good position. He's got to suck those hips back. There you go. Nice job of cranking on.
And Binion has never been submitted via rear naked choke. Jackson putting the squeeze on Binion here, coming up on the final minute of the fight.
Again, it's on the jaw, but that is painful. That's a lot of pain. He's not going to get choked out, but he can, if he's strong enough, he can dislocate that jaw.
What's more painful? Nice reversal by Binion. I was going to say that wouldn't be as painful as tasting defeat against DeMarquez Jackson, and now it's Binion back in top position.
He is, but that was the same situation they had just a moment ago when I was talking about how smart Jackson was. He had the same thing happen. He was just slow in changing that position again, and that's why you see Binion on top.
Half minute left in this fight. Series of left hands from top position, open guard of Jackson. Jackson continues to
scramble.
Well, it's coach, and that's, yeah, scramble, John. It's easier said than done with 10 seconds left in what has been up to now a grueling affair between DeMarquez Jackson, Grachik, Binion, excuse me, as they go the distance.
Good job, gentlemen.
Tough night for both fighters.
Oh, that is both guys giving it everything they have. I love to see that.
And Bazinyan's submission winning streak has come to an end. His previous 5 wins came via submission. They go the distance. And, you know, Jackson told us his greatest strength was heart. Well, he displayed a lot of heart in this battle tonight.
Boy, he did. He's exhausted. That's a guy that gave it everything that he had. And that's what you're looking for. Clint Vassell trying to use his large body to cover the fatigue. Here's the takedown of Binion near the start of that round. And then was this position right here. Jackson reverses the position, spins around, gets the back as he pulls Binion into him. That was a beautiful technique used by Jackson. He went for the chokes. The chokes really weren't set into the neck. They were on the jaw. This was the second one, and that's when he ended up getting that reversal.
Fight stats. The edge belonging to Grachik Binion, but Jackson proving to be as tough as his nickname, Scrap Iron. We're about to find out how the 3 judges seated at cage side adjudicated this fight. The answer lies with Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, for the decision, we'll go to your scorecards. Your first judge, Doug Crosby, scores the fight 30-27, while judges Brian Miner and Ron McCarthy both see it the same, 29-28. All have it for the winner by unanimous decision, Grachik Blackstone Binion.
Grachik Binion moves to 1-1 in the Bellator MMA welterweight division, while DeMarquez Jackson falls to 1-1 here in Bellator. Let's go back to Jen.
Well, thanks, Mauro. Catch up on past fights 24/7 now on our Bellator Pluto TV channel. It's available now on your favorite devices. Be sure to look for us in the sports category. Well, to be the best, you've got to beat the best. And this tournament features the best of the best tonight. Bellator's light heavyweight world Grand Prix continues with 2 quarterfinals where all are vying for the $1 million grand prize and the title of world champion. From the other side of the Atlantic Ocean, here is our own Gareth Davies to break it down.
Thanks, guys. What a main event we have later tonight with a light heavyweight rematch between the current champion at 205, Vadim Nemkov, and Phil Davis, as Bellator's light heavyweight Grand Prix, arguably one of the most stacked series ever in the history of MMA, continues. Davis can hit 3 birds with 1 stone here, win back the Bellator belt, avenge defeat, and progress to the semi-finals of the tournament, and meet the winner of Anthony Rumble Johnson and Yoel Romero, who fight on May 7. In the first fight in 2018, Nemkov Nemkov used his leg kicks and was far more active in the first 2 rounds, winning the fight by a 29-28 split decision. The key for Davis this time around against Nemkov is for Mr. Wonderful to get his hands on the 28-year-old from Belgorod Oblast. Round 4 coming up.
All right, Garrett, thank you very much. That's the main event for Bellator 257 coming up later tonight from right here at the Mohegan Sun Arena in Uncasville, Connecticut, as the prelims roll on. We are set for action here in the heavyweight division. Number 7 ranked Steve Maui, undefeated at 8-0, including 4 wins here in Bellator. And he takes on Sean Asher, fighting for the first time here in Bellator at 13-3-1. And while we wait for the big boys to throw down, let's take another look at what's coming your way at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific, Bellator 257 on Showtime. And John, again, it's all about the light heavyweight World Grand Prix. 2 compelling contests coming your way later tonight.
Man, we have got 2 fights that are just outstanding. I can tell you, Yagshimuradov is a guy I have been in the cage with. People do not know him, but I will tell you he is explosive. He fights a little bit different. I don't know if his style, being that he likes to keep his back to the cage, is a good thing to do against Corey Anderson, but that is a great matchup. And then Vadim Nemkov in a rematch with Phil Davis. We had that fight in Israel 2.5 years ago. It was incredible. Phil Davis was coming on the end. It's going to be great to see round 4.
And a former flyweight title challenger, Vida Ortega, welcomes Desiree Yanez to Bellator, and we are going to light the fuse from the jump. Paul Semtex Daly meets Sabaho Masi in what has turned into a grudge match. The 3rd time will be the harm. And speaking of harm, we're set for the heavyweights to go at it. And let's go to the numbers that tell their story, John.
Well, simple tape here. You look at, we call him Tall Steve. Steve Maui at 6'8" to Sean Asher 6 foot. We'll see if that makes a difference in the fight.
And here's the heavyweight when it comes to the man on the mic, Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, here at Mohegan Sun Arena, the prelims roll on. We go now to the heavyweight division set for 3 5-minute rounds. Introducing the blue corner at 6 foot, weighing in 247 1/4 pounds. In his Bellator debut, he enters with 13 wins, 3 losses, 1 draw. He fights out of Decatur, Ohio, the bully, Sean Asher.
Your time, baby, your time, your time.
And across the cage, his adversary, fighting out of the red corner at 6'8", weighing in 247 pounds, even, undefeated as a professional. 8 victories, no defeats, out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, Steve Maui. And the referee in charge, Todd Anderson.
Todd Anderson, busy man tonight, overseeing this heavyweight tilt. Current heavyweight champion joining us tonight at the fight desk. Ryan Bader, of course, he's on his road to redemption at light heavyweight, but he'll be watching with vested interest as these big boys throw down. It is Maui in the red gloves and Asher in the blue gloves.
Steve Maui has had just a really impressive run here in Bellator. He's had fights where he's been hurt and come back in those fights to get the victory. He has shown his durability, he's shown how tough he is, and he has shown how talented he is on the ground.
Every one of his fights have ended via knockout or submission. Asher played pro basketball in Germany. He has won 2 in a row since losing to Jordan Johnson.
That was a big knee he just landed.
Oh, boy, did he ever.
That hurt Asher. That's the same thing he hurt Sean Tui with his last fight.
Steve Maui dropping the hammer fists on Sean Asher. Maui looking to mow down Asher, and he does it here in round 1. Well, his catchphrase is Steve rules, and Steve ruled tonight.
you know, this all comes down. Look at that, just the leg. Look at the knee come up, bink, right on that jawline. You see Asher going down. That was a knee that just took his legs out. He's seeing lights right there. That's when you're seeing all those little sparks going off in front of you. Doesn't respond real well to the pressure. And then just right here, you know, covering with one arm as a guy's hitting your head over and over. Just not what the referee's looking for. Steve Maui with another big win.
6 of Maui's 9 victories have come in the opening round. And a touch of class on the part of Maui, making sure that Sean Asher is, well, as okay as can be expected after tasting the vicious offense of Steve Maui. Came into tonight's fight ranked number 7 in the Bellator MMA heavyweight division. Picks up his 5th win here in Bellator.
2 in a row. Sean Tweed, his last fight, a knee to ground and pound. Things are starting to become like Groundhog's Day with Steve Maui.
All right, let's make it official with Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, it comes to an end. 55 seconds into round number 1. The winner by TKO, Steve Maui.
Sean Asher was gone in less than 60 seconds. Steve Maui, 9-0 overall. A heavyweight to keep your eyes on. 2 more preliminary bouts coming your way here at Bellator 257.
One of Bellator's very best. Walk in like a boss. While the Spaniard Archuleta puts his bantamweight title on the line against #1 contender Sergio Pettis.
Pettis victorious!
But first, 2 brawlers collide when knockout artist Anthony Johnson takes on striking specialist Yoel Romero in the light heavyweight World Grand Prix.
Welcome to Bellator!
Bellator MMA, live Friday, May 7th on Showtime, where warriors rule.
Hey, Bellator Nation, follow us across a large array of digital platforms and stay up to date on everything you need to know. Like us on the Bellator Facebook page and see exclusive videos. Follow us and get instant updates on Twitter at Bellator MMA and get a chance to have your tweet live on the broadcast. See amazing pictures on Instagram at Bellator MMA. Join Bellator Nation today.
MMA's toughest tournament rages on.
So is that all you got?
When newly crowned champ Nemkov returns to the cage to face Phil Davis.
So is that all you got?
Then Corey Overtime Anderson is on the attack to take down rising star Wolfhound Yakshimurodo.
Round and ball!
As the hunt for the title heats up, the Bellator MMA Light Heavyweight World Grand Prix, live tonight on Showtime.
Back here inside the Mohegan Sun Arena, an eventful Bellator 257 prelims, and still to come, the feature attraction here on the prelims. John, we've got the former women's featherweight champion Julia Budd, the #1 ranked contender. She takes on Diana Silva in Silva's Bellator MMA debut, but right now we are set for action in the light heavyweight division. And that's 37-year-old Arubian assassin Gregory Millard from Aruba, Jamaica. Ooh, I want to take you to Kokomo, John, and this guy puts the KO in Kokomo. 7 of his 11 wins have come due to his power.
He does have power in his stand-up. Good kicks, big hands.
His cousin, UFC fighter Jairzinho Biggie Boy Rosenstrike. And there is Julius Anglickas, the 29-year-old who's 2-0 in Bellator.
Yeah, 2-0, taking both fights. When you're looking at his opponents, were both undefeated. Anglickas is just a stud when it comes to the stand-up. He just keeps coming forward. He's got great wrestling defense, and he just starts putting a beating on his opponents.
All right, we are set for Julius Anglickas and Gregory Millard. Here's the tail of the tape.
Tail of the tape is very similar when you're looking at that reach, 77 to 76. Both guys love the stand-up.
Anglickas at number 5 in the rankings as we go to Michael Z. Williams.
Tonight here at Bellator 257, the preliminary card moves back now to the light heavyweight division, set for 3 5-minute rounds. Introducing the blue corner at 6 foot, weighing in 205.5 pounds. His professional record, 12 victories, 6 losses. Out of the Chocolate City, Aruba, he is the Arubian assassin, Gregory Millard. And across the cage, his adversary finding out of the red corner at 6'3", weighing in 205 pounds, even, nearly perfect as a pro. 9 wins, just 1 defeat. By way of Lithuania, he fights out of St. Louis, Missouri, Julius Anglickas. In charge, your referee, Dan Mergliazzo.
The light heavyweight division, currently the talk of Bellator MMA with the Bellator Light Heavyweight World Grand Prix.
All right, you ready, sir?
Continuing
ready, sir?
later tonight.
Let's go,
the bell in round 1 on Anglickas in the red gloves, Millard in the blue gloves. Anglickas has won 8 straight, including 2 in Bellator, where his opponents, Alex Polizzi and Jordan Young, were previously undefeated. Millard, well, he hasn't been in a Bellator cage in almost 9 years, and he is well undefeated in his last 4 fights. Long time away.
Long time away, but welcome back, Gregory. Gregory started out as a complete stand-up fighter, has worked his way into having black belt Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He understands the game. His real problem in this fight is if he wants to utilize that Jiu-Jitsu, he's got to get past the stand-up of Anglickas and utilize wrestling. Anglickas is actually really good with his wrestling defense.
Millard, a former AA baseball prospect with the Baltimore Orioles. Nice jab through the guard by Anglickas, who lived in Lithuania till he was 14. Now fighting out of St. Louis, Missouri. St. Charles MMA. Head coach Mike Rogers, striking coach Quentin O'Brien.
You can just see right on the back of his shorts, boxing. That's what Julius likes to bring into the cage. He doesn't kick a lot. He will kick to open things up, but he is big into utilizing a standard boxing stance and using his hands.
Neither fighter has been knocked out. Jens Anglickas will eventually get it right, John. His only loss coming back in June of 2016 against Cameron Olson, when he was submitted via arm triangle choke, and he has Millard along the fence.
Millard, he initiated that clinch. It's Anglickas that has been able to.
Maybe we won't get it.
Exactly. He's the one that's been landing good knee strikes. He's dominating the position right now, and this is where he is so strong.
Control the head. That's it. There you go.
There you go. Body lock. Body lock.
Anglickas was looking for that body lock. Millard with the overhook.
One of the things, if you've watched Julius's past fights, he really doesn't initiate taking the fight to the ground. He wants to stay in the stand-up.
Anglickas wrestled in college. He has a master's in teaching physical education. Incredibly fit, as all fighters have to be when you step into the Bellator MMA cage. And now Millard with some feints. Anglickas feinting as well here now in the center of the cage. Jab from Millard. Millard is experienced. He loves being involved in high-caliber firefights. He feels he's always a threat to finish. 8 of his 11 wins coming inside the distance.
The big difference you're seeing right now is look at the strikes that Gregory is using. He is winging shots, looping those shots from the sides, where Julius is throwing straight shots down the middle. Those are going to get there faster.
Bring the kicks, buddy. There you go.
Take him down, Julius.
Side leg kick by Millard. Final minute of the opening round. Jab through the guard by Anglickas. Saw his compatriot from Lithuania, Montis Stanionis, pick up an impressive victory on Showtime Championship Boxing last Saturday to remain unbeaten at 147. The glamour division of boxing, the welterweights, but this is 205-pound action. They close the distance, and Anglickas has Millard against the fence.
He does have him against the fence. That knee, kick knee that landed, you can see that it affected Millard a little bit. I'm really impressed. I've watched Millard when he was early in his career, and he has absolutely gotten so much better. He's a completely different fighter now. He's more relaxed. Before he would force things.
And now at 29 in his physical prime.
Wait. Watch the warning strikes, okay? The one kick was to the groin. Try to keep it a little higher, a little lower.
So think about it as you knee him on the cage, right? You got the body lock, knee him on the cage, his hips suck in, do leg picks, okay? Don't have to fight it. The other thing I need you to do for me is start kicking him. It doesn't have to be a lot, and it doesn't have to be leg if you're worried about trap, but he's sitting here right in front of you like this, kick him in the shoulders, okay? Just 1, 1, 2, kick here and there, just to keep him honest, because right now all he's sitting on his hands, all right? Good job, good movement, just keep the body low. Water. Good. All right, here we go.
Esse round, ó. Vamos lá. Esse round tem que ser seu, Millard.
Okay, second round. You ready? Let's go.
This is round number 2 in the light heavyweight division. The number 5 ranked Julius Anglickas against Gregory Millard. Back in Bellator, looking to improve his Bellator record to 2-1, while Anglickas seeks his 3rd victory here in Bellator.
That was a really nice right-hand counter by Millard.
Takedown secured by Anglickas.
Left knee tight. There you go.
This is saying a lot because we've watched Anglickas multiple times in the Bellator cage. He does not like to take the fight to the ground. So what he's telling you is, Gregory Millard, he's hit me a couple times. He's got some power. I'm going to take him down and avoid these big strikes.
Use your body weight to do it. That's it.
There you go.
Millard working from his back, but Anglickas in the half guard.
There you go. Keep that weight on his neck. Keep it on his neck.
That was beautiful shoulder pressure by Julius as he was trying to pass. You saw that Millard switched his hips to keep him in that half guard. He wants to try to bring this back to a full guard if he can. Back to the shoulder pressure, back to trying to pass.
If you want the mount, get an arm with your right arm and go to mount. There we go. Now you can go to mount.
Anglickas corner telling him to go for that underhook and go for mount, but the wrist control here by Millard.
Well, if Anglickas can control that right side with his arm. Well, actually, it's his opponent's left side, excuse me. Control that left side with the underhook. That's what's going to keep him there, and that's why they're saying, get that underhook, then you can go to mount.
Millard is trained in the past Hard Knocks 365 Team Alpha Male. Now with the Millard MMA Academy located in Aruba. Maybe we could eventually do a show in Aruba. Midway through round 2, and Anglickas putting pressure on Millard along the fence.
A lot of pressure. You're seeing Millard trying to move his hips, trying to change position, cannot do it.
Neutralizes the right arm momentarily, but Millard just trying desperately to get out from underneath Anglickas, and again, that is burning up fuel.
It is. Anglickas is in a position where he's so heavy on top, he's physically strong.
Your little posture if you can.
There you go, hold him up.
See right here, a lot of pressure, that forearm on the throat. People look at that, you're not feeling it, but that is someone with 200 and some pounds just driving forward onto your neck. A very uncomfortable feeling.
That's it.
Hey, you can pass his guard. Punch.
There you go. Don't worry about trapping as much. I know. You start punching with your left.
One of the benefits of not having an audience, and we cannot wait to have a crowd back here at Bellator, but you hear the corner, you hear all of the sounds, and we allow you to experience what is going on in the cage.
Posture, bud. Posture up. If he tries to walk, if he tries to cage walk, knee him in the chest. Posture up the punch, and if he tries to cage walk, knee him in the chest.
Anglickas right now is trying to keep Millard from getting his back to the cage.
There you go, bud.
That's why he's putting the pressure down. Millard now gets his back to the cage, trying to get to a point where he can get back to his feet.
Final minute. Anglickas still top position on Gregory Millard. Final 45 seconds left now.
Punch, he gets the damage on him.
Millard unable to even attempt a wall walk with Anglickas, putting all that weight, sitting down on his legs.
That and also that underhook, that right arm with the underhook is giving Millard some problems.
Half a minute left in the round.
Half game, half game. But he got time. Posture and go. Posture and go. Give me something. Don't worry about it. Posture and go.
Folks at Hill Street Boxing are wondering, hey,
posture and go.
Where's the boxing? Anglickas controlling Millard as we go to the third and final round.
Right. Clean.
You can take a look at what has happened so far in this fight. We got 2 rounds down, and right now I would have to say that Julius Anglickas is in a position where he's forcing Gregory Millard to do something big in this third round. He's got to land big shots, finish the fight, or put on a round that's going to get him back to a point where he's even in the fight unless he can get a 10-7 round.
Right. So like
Millard has a third round knockout that came against Michael Piper in April 2016.
Ele está cansado. Tá? Ele está cansado. Ele está cansado.
Anglickas told us he expects a finish in the third round. That third and final round is upon us. Final 5 minutes of this light heavyweight encounter. Right hand tags Millard.
What Anglickas did in that second round and just went right back to in the third round, he changed the complexity of the fight by utilizing the takedown. Now, Gregory Millard's got to deal with more than just this stand-up guy. That's the difference in this fight right now.
And no takedown defense whatsoever from Millard on that long-range shot.
Posture punch. Posture punch.
Josh Thompson will tell you all the time, do not shoot that thing raw dog from outside. And Julius Anglickas just said, nah, I can do it.
There you go. Posture and punch it. Bota a mão na frente do rosto dele, Millard, para levantar. Vamos, agora. Empurra. Bate o quadril, vamos.
Jen Brown, Josh Thompson, and current Bellator heavyweight champion Ryan Bader, who was involved in the light heavyweight Grand Prix, joining us at the fight desk tonight. Still to come here on the prelims, former Bellator MMA women's featherweight champion, now #1 ranked Julia Budd, meets Diana Silva.
Head back in center. Hips up.
And then at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific, Bellator 257 main card on Showtime, including the quarterfinals of the light heavyweight World Grand Prix. Millard giving up his back.
Working to get to his feet, but he gave up his back. He needs to stand up. Nice job by Millard. Now work the hands. You want to break the hands apart.
Nelson with the right arm and knees.
Transition on top of the head. Don't worry about squeezing.
Half in.
His hands off the ground. Go. Relax.
Separation. And here's where Gregory Millard, with 7 of his 11 wins via form of knockout, has to put some kind of offensive attacks together. And immediately Anglickas, easy takedown, John.
Just a blast double, putting him right back onto the mat. And now there's no fence for him to utilize to get himself back to his feet. Now he's going to have to look towards getting a reversal or getting enough space. Get those feet on the hips. Get Anglickas off of him.
Anglickas told us that he started as a good wrestler but was finishing people with strikes. Then people were telling him he's a striker and he was finishing people with chokes. He says that his striking is what he's best at, but he wants to work everything equally, and well, he's utilized his wrestling takedowns to control Millard on the ground, but he hasn't been able to maximize it, and now Millard controlling both arms.
He's trying to pitch down both those, using those gloves as a little gap stop, holding on to him.
That's it. Get your hands
Let
out.
your hands go now, man.
With
That's it.
Anglickas taking it down, John, and not...
Punch with that hand.
He needs to maximize his position, needs to pass the guard here. And if he's controlled from this position, that's fine, but not doing a lot of damage.
Yeah, one of the things when you get into this position, if you're going to stay in the guard, right now you see where his head position is with his opponent. That's where he wants his head position to be, because now he can bring heavy strikes, he can bring big elbows, he can bring punches. That's the position. When you see his head going down towards the sternum, that's when all that power goes away.
Look the pass. Game.
Game and go for broke, buddy. Come on.
And Anglickas' corner telling him to go for broke. We are coming up on the final minute of this light heavyweight bout here at Bellator 257.
Nope. There you go.
Stand it, pass.
Come on.
We need more movement out of Greg Millard. He's tired. There's no doubt about it. I don't blame him. But right now, you've got to move. Start shrimping. Start moving your hips. Create a scramble situation.
And there, an explosive escape attempt by Millard, but Anglickas going to side control. Under 30 seconds left.
Knee over his belly, not stepping over, just knee over, slide over his belly.
Slide over. Stay tight.
He's getting the right coaching from his corner.
Getting the exact coaching. Now that he's inside control, this is what happens when you're sweating. Now he steps over into a half guard, and not a bad thing to do at this point of the fight.
Don't guarantee your punch. Posture and go as hard as you can. Get your arm out and go.
So these two light heavyweights go the 15-minute distance, and unless I miss something, Julius Anglickas should be improving to 10-1, 3-0 here in Bellator MMA.
I would think so.
Kinda.
Got it.
One for you.
Here were some of the knee strikes that Anglickas, just bringing it up right into the solar plex area, pushing the arm back, bringing the knee inside, and then he went to that point of, I'm going to change this up. I'm utilizing my wrestling, gets the blast double, drives him onto his back, Second one, same thing. Turns the corner on that takedown. Nicely done. And then the ground and pound, not vicious, but systematic in its application. He was always trying to push the head down, always trying to at least cause a problem.
Not a lot of offense in this fight tonight. 3 takedowns, the difference for Julius Anglickas in this light heavyweight matchup. And we await the official scores here at the Mohegan Sun Arena. And something Gregory Millard will definitely work on is his takedown defense as we go to Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, for the decision, we'll go to your judges' scorecards. Your first judge, Eric Colon, scores it 29-28, while judges Brian Miner and Michael Murtha both see it the same 30-27. All have it for the winner by unanimous decision, Julius Anglickas.
Julius Anglickas, remaining unbeaten in Bellator MMA. Let's go to Big John.
Julius Anglickas, that was a rough, grinding, tough fight. You went back and utilized wrestling that we haven't really seen you use a lot in the Bellator cage to get that win. Talk to me about what you were thinking.
1 second. I don't want to stutter. I don't know why I just couldn't get my boxing going. I just felt a little mentally stuck from the beginning. Like, he had a good power, but it was like I was fine the whole time. I don't know, I just couldn't go. So when, like, I looked at his record, like, it's always knockout, knockout, knockout. When I put him against the cage, I was like, okay, I'm much stronger than him. Okay. And then I knew in the 3rd round he was really gonna go for broke. So I was just like, I can't risk it. Plus, like, from the 1st round, I just couldn't get myself going. So I was just like, all right, well, wrestling it is. I haven't done too much ground and pound. So I figured it'll be some ring time for ground and pound. So I feel like even then I couldn't do much because he was fresh the whole time. He was holding my hands, but I'm not happy. So I'll just have to go back to a drawing board and just do better, because if I want to fight guys like in the tournament, I'll have to step it up and not do like how I fought tonight.
Well, I think you should be happy, because I just got word that President Scott Coker just picked you as the alternate based upon this victory. What does it mean to you knowing that you are now the alternate in the light heavyweight Grand Prix?
Definitely it motivates me. It's like, okay, I get recognized. And still, I have to do better than what I did today. I don't know why I just picked such an easy way out, just by grabbing him and ground and pound. But it definitely motivates me. Like, I see that people believe in me. So it's like, okay, and even my coaches say, like, Julius, the day you're gonna believe in yourself, you're gonna wreck everybody. So it's just some little mental things I have going on in my head. The second I'm gonna fix all of those, everybody better watch out.
Okay, sounds good to me. Congratulations. That was actually a very tough but well-deserved victory.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Julius Anglickas.
Julius Anglickas remaining undefeated here in Bellator MMA, now an alternate in the light heavyweight World Grand Prix. Let's go back to Jen.
Well, thanks, Mauro. We're closing in on the top of the hour in the continuation of Bellator's light heavyweight World Grand Prix. Not one, but 2 of the sport's best light heavyweight fighters will advance to the semifinals. The champion Vadim Nemkov defends his gold against former champion in Phil Davis, and Corey Overtime Anderson will face Dovlejan Yakshimuradov in our co-main event. Here's Gareth Davies to break it all down.
Thanks, guys. Light heavyweight Corey Anderson joined Bellator under a fanfare of publicity last year and says he wants to prove he's the best in what he believes is the best light heavyweight roster in the world. Anderson debuted a victory in Bellator last year against martial arts legend Melvin Manhoef and has the chance to bring his ambitions to a reality as the Bellator light heavyweight tournament continues tonight. He faces newcomer Dovlejan Yakshimuradov of Turkmenistan. The short, squat hot, powerful Yakshimuradov is riding an 8-win streak, 6 of those by submission or knockout, and built like a tank, he has heavy hands and feet and some impressive finishes. He remains the dark horse of the tournament. Anderson is known by his cage sobriquet as Overtime, and the smothering force from Illinois will be looking for a short shift tonight.
So we are set for our feature attraction here on the Bellator 257 prelims. It will feature the women's featherweight division, the former champion, now the #1 ranked contender, Julia Budd, taking on Diana Silva, making her Bellator MMA debut. Let's go to the numbers.
Tell the tape for this fight, very simple. There is a big difference, 37 to 30 in age, but the experience absolutely goes to Julia Budd.
Here's Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, here at Mohegan Sun Arena, we now conclude the Bellator 257 prelims with the scheduled 3 5-minute round fight in the featherweight division. Introducing the blue corner at 5'7", weighing in 144 3/4 pounds, making her Bellator debut as a professional. She's 9-5, hailing from Nova Iguaçu, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, presenting Diana Silva. And across the cage, her adversary, fighting out of the red corner at 5'8", weighing in 145 1/4 pounds, the former longtime Bellator featherweight world champion, tonight has 14 professional victories against 3 losses. Fighting out of Port Moody, British Columbia, Canada, introducing Julia the Juha Budd. And your referee in charge, Kevin McDonald.
So Julia Budd wanted a automatic rematch against Chris Cyborg. She didn't get that. Bounced back with a win over Jessica Mealy in her last fight. Now welcomes Diana Silva to Bellator. Silva calling this the biggest opportunity of her life. She's in the blue gloves, the former champ in the red gloves. This is round 1, scheduled for 3. Budd faced Marlus Kunin for Bellator's inaugural Women's Featherweight Championship back in March of 2017, stopping the veteran in the 4th round via strikes. Made 3 successful title defenses before losing the title to Chris Cyborg. Cyborg will make the first defense of her title in a rematch against Leslie Smith, the main event of Bellator 259 coming up Friday, May 21st.
Julia came into mixed martial arts off of a Muay Thai background, but she has developed into this fighter that is a positional domination type of fighter. She pushes people into the cage, she grinds them, she just systematically breaks them down.
And I'm sure that her stepson, Lance Gibson Jr.'s victory earlier tonight, giving her a little extra pep in her step as she goes to work in this fight.
I would think so. Off of that performance by her stepson, she's got to be very happy right now stepping in the cage.
There is Lance and the victorious Lance Jr., father and son again. Lance Gibson Sr., a Canadian mixed martial arts pioneer. Jr. been training since he was 2. And for Julia Budd, well, ever since she was a little girl, she's been fascinated by combat sports, loved watching boxing, fights involving Muhammad Ali, and Hurricane Carter had a really big impact on her. Always wanted to be a fighter and started training Muay Thai at 17, has a degree in human genetics, and, well, she is as physically fit as they come.
She is. That was a beautiful left hand she landed on Silva. Silva's been throwing a very hard left hook. If she lands that thing, it's going to have an effect. So far, it has not landed effectively.
Diana Silva, 9-5 with 2 knockout wins, has been stopped due to strikes in her career. Coming off a victory last August at Chuto in her native Brazil, representing a storied team, Nova União, home of the likes of the great featherweight champion Jose Aldo, trained by Marcos Galvão, the former Bellator bantamweight champion. Midway point of round 1. Calf kick by Silva.
Silva does a very good job, but most of the time when she's kicking, she will hide her kicks behind her hand. She's going to throw a combination, and then she'll throw that kick.
Make the one corkscrew.
For Julia Budd, you talk about a baptism by conflagration. Fought future MMA champions in 3 of her first 4 pro fights. You may have heard of Ronda Rousey, Amanda Nunes, and Jermaine Durandami. That's in the beginning of her career.
Yeah, she went through a murderer's row at the beginning and then had a huge, long winning streak just based upon her physicality and beat, just women champions like Marloes Koenen, who everyone knows was one of the mainstays of women's MMA in the beginning.
Yeah, when she lost her title to Cyborg, it snapped an 11-fight winning streak, bounced back her last time out, and now she wants to maintain her #1 position. She wants to get past Silva. She wants next, but Silva standing in front of her and acquitting herself well here in her first round in Bellator, John.
She absolutely is. She just needs to stop with the giant looping punches. She's telegraphing those shots, making it very easy for Julia Budd to defend those.
Nice, good footwork. She's out of range.
Under a minute left, right hand from Silva, countering the kick by Budd. Lance Gibson calling for more feints from Budd. What about the movement of Silva, John? What do you interpret that as?
Well, the movement of Silva is a combination of a Muay Thai style. She's trying to keep that front leg light. I've watched her before. She gets a little heavy on that front leg, which is allowing Julia Budd to land a leg kick like that. So she's trying to keep it light so she can check.
Yeah, expert Muay Thai practitioner, BJJ brown belt, an aggressive fighter. Final seconds of the opening round. A getting to know you 5 minutes between Budd and Silva. Silva closing the distance at the bell.
Chair. Good job. See what she's throwing? You see where it's coming from? Yeah. Okay, keep picking her apart. Picking her apart and then tagging her again and tagging her again. Okay? Control your breathing. Good job. I want a little bit more feints. Land your hands. She's open for a corkscrew that jab. Corkscrew that jab over top of it. Also, I want to see a 3-2. Chop that leg. Inside low tip to well. Do your toe kicks. Okay? She's just winging. You can see it coming. She's going to go 6-3 or overhand. Okay? Do you want it? You can finish this girl. We can. Just keep picking her apart.
Budd holds victories over former champions Jermaine Durandami and Marloes Koenen, we've talked about, and has faced 2 incredible fighters, including, well, one of the best to ever do it in Amanda Nunes, and of course lost her title to another ferocious fighter in Chris Cyborg as we get set for round number 2. The touch of gloves and Budd utilizing some footwork, circling. Silva continues to use a lot of energy, bouncing up and down, a lot of feints. Like you say, John, that Muay Thai style.
And that's right there is the problem. She's throwing those big looping shots. If she would utilize, see again, looping shot. She needs to utilize that footwork and those feints to set up straight shots down the middle. And then when she gets Julia off center, now bring that looping shot as she's trying to set her up.
Budd counters with the jab.
Set it up.
Minute gone here in the second. Gibson
Make the 1-3-2.
looking for that 1-3-2.
Silva keeps on going back to those looping shots. So the one thing I'd like to see is to straighten those out a little bit. But with Julia Budd, you need to start countering. You are just allowing these things to be thrown, and you're defending them, but you're not bringing anything back towards you.
When it comes to that 1-3-2, it's the jab, left hook, and the right cross that the Budd corner would like to see her put together, John. What about Budd's offense? It's Silva that is initiating the attack, and for Julia Budd, putting together the jab now. But would you like to see an uptick in her output?
Absolutely. You know, when she is throwing, she's throwing straight shots. I love that about what she's doing, but she's not throwing enough. When someone is throwing these kind of looping shots and you see them coming, that is your time to catch and then score. I want to counter these shots. I want to make that person pay for throwing that type of shot in my direction.
Catch and shoot. 2:45 left in the second. Budd goes to the body with the kick, and Silva's out of range. Throwing those shots but missing and not able to butt check the kick. Silva has to navigate distance better.
Yeah, right now she's staying too far out. Julia is just playing with her as far as her footwork and knowing the range that Silva needs to get into the land and just staying right outside of it, just like that.
Right outside of the attack from Silva. And there's a winding right hand again, looping shot by Diana Silva, fighting out of Rio de Janeiro, Brazil.
Gotta get our feet in. Gotta get our feet in. There we go. Good feint.
Under 2 minutes left, and Budd doing some decent feints with her legs, but needs to start firing.
Yeah, it's really the output. That's the one thing I want to see on Julia right now. She's doing a technically good fight as far as what
counter right hand that landed for Silva.
Footwork and everything is beautiful. Her positioning is well. She's controlling range well, but you've got to fire back.
Good footwork indeed, avoiding, and Budd changing levels, looking for the takedown, has the single leg. Good defense and good balance by Silva.
She needs to elevate that leg up.
Silva stuffing the takedown on one leg. And Budd working for the takedown.
Got it as she turned it to her right side.
Now tight position.
What she wants to do is bring her leg underneath and prop those legs up, figure four those legs if she can.
Now push her on her back.
And then turn and get her back off of the cage.
Be on those hips. There you go.
Under a minute left here in round number 2. Silva's never been submitted, while Budd has one submission win. That came against Molly Estes back in the Invicta Fighting Championship days in April of 2013. So it's been a while that she controls Silva along the fence, stomping on her feet, old school style. And hey, she's got an old school fighter in her corner now. Open, good takedown by Budd.
It is a nice step over the leg right there. A lot of people don't like that, but this half guard position for Julia, she's dominant in, so I understand her moving herself right to it.
Although the king of streets, Marco Lewis, is going, hey, wait a minute, remember me when it comes to the foot stops. 15 seconds left in the second with Julia Budd in top position. Silva on her back for the first time in this fight as we head to the third and final round of this women's featherweight contest.
Stop. Clean break. Work.
Good work. Control your breathing. Good job. She's throwing all haymakers. You can see them coming. Okay? But we know how to counter where her head goes. That 3-2 is there when you're fast. But don't 3-2, don't stop. 3-2, elbow. Push her face.
She wants to sit out of range. You notice that? She's sitting out of range. She can throw those bombs. If you get a little bit closer on the jab, you're gonna pop her head back.
Okay.
Control your breathing. Good. I want one more 5-minute round, but I'd like you to finish her. You need to finish, okay?
A family affair in the Julia Budd corners. We take a look at some of the action from the middle frame.
This was one of the shots, I believe, that landed from Silva. Nice right hand, brings it over the top. It lands right up top of the head, a little bit taken off. And this was the takedown by Julia Budd. This is what changed the round for her as far as getting position, putting Silva on the defensive.
All right, let's see if they put the pedal to the metal. Let's see if we see an uptick in the offensive output in this, the third and final round. Julia Budd in the red gloves, the former Bellator MMA women's featherweight champion, and Bellator MMA newcomer Diana Silva in the blue gloves. Teed by the former Muay Thai practitioner Budd. 1-2 put together by Silva, but again, just outside of range. And again, it's Julia Budd taking short steps back, John, but not moving forward, not imposing her will and skill on Silva.
Well, yeah, she's not giving those counters. She is just accepting this, getting out of range, just like you just saw. But she's not making Silva pay for launching that attack. That was a nice kick to the midsection.
Julia Budd wants another chance to become the Bellator MMA women's featherweight champion. Her only loss in 9 Bellator fights coming against the current champ, Chris Cyborg. But she has to show that she wants it, John.
Yeah, what you're looking for is output. You want to see Julia Budd just have one of those fights where she just starts to go after someone. She doesn't play it safe on the outside. She doesn't wait. She goes after someone, puts pressure on him, and just imposes her will.
And very close in terms of the total strikes landed.
But look at the number of the output from Silva compared to the output.
Look at total punches landed, and again, just a statistic, just a barometer, not the true story of the fight, John, but still, we see the offensive output, and it's with Silva.
Yeah. Well, there's no doubt Silva is the busier fighter as far as throwing, at least putting some attack out there.
And then in the kicking department, yes, Budd with the advantage, but just one facet of the game. Under 3 minutes left in the fight. The jab by Budd.
That was as close to a straight punch from Silva that we've ever seen.
Needs to try to find a way to somehow close the distance and land while avoiding the sophisticated striking of Julia Budd, but Budd failing to pull the trigger here in round 3. Her corner calling for the numbers, John.
Absolutely, they've been calling it the entire fight. She just has not been responding with those.
And I've seen this before with Julia Budd in one of her title defenses against Arlene Blenko, where she was lucky to escape with the title in her possession.
Yeah, this has been, if you're going to say, what do you see in Julia Budd? You see a superior athlete. You see someone that has all the elements that you're looking for. She is fast. She's super strong. She's great when she starts to close the distance and grab a hold of her opponent, but she can let the fight slide by just being comfortable. You can't be comfortable. You've got to go out there and say, I need to put on a show.
If you're comfortable in this cage, you're in the wrong sport.
Very good point.
There's a catapult right hand by Silva. Silva really trying, but again, just unable to find that range, find the distance.
The one thing that I'd like to see Silva do, she needs to slide her feet. If she's going to throw that jab and that overhand, then bring your feet in. Don't just plant your feet and stop.
Calf kick by Silva.
1-3-2. 1-3-2.
Gibson calling for the 1-3-2. He's lucky to get the 1.
1-3-2 now.
Final 60 seconds. Who wants to make a definitive statement in this fight? Budd clamoring for a rematch of the Women's Featherweight Championship. Cyborg to defend the title against Leslie Smith. Diana Silva looking to win in her Bellator MMA debut. 45 seconds, John.
Right now, at least Diana Silva is going for it. She's throwing offense out there, and that's what the judges are seeing. So I can understand if they're saying, hey, I'm going to have Silva winning this right now.
Low calf kick lands for Budd. 30 seconds left in the fight.
Gotta come forward. Gotta get in there.
Budd's husband imploring her to come forward, get in there. Diana Silva throws the jab, countered by a jab from Budd. Final 15 seconds seconds of the fight.
15 seconds, 15 seconds.
And Bud looking for the takedown, and it's Silva with the whizzer. And they land back on their feet. Great job by Silva.
3-2.
Wow. All right. I know you're not official, but how do you score this fight?
Just right off the bat, don't even worry about the other rounds. I think that Julia Budd actually won the first round. Now, when you're getting into the second round, she was not winning it, and then she takes her down. So how do the judges look at it? And the third round definitely goes to Silva. So this is a toss-up.
Wow.
Agora vamos ver o que vai acontecer. Perdeu o segundo para mim. Vai dar queda. Ela é da casa. Não, vamos confiar. Pode comemorar, comemora, relaxa. Bora. Pode levar, relaxa. Anda, comemora.
It will be interesting to see how the judges score this women's featherweight fight. The jab from Bud there, John.
That was a nice, clean jab from Julia, and she did that at the beginning of this fight, and those low kicks were probably the best element she brought in this fight, but it was her inability to counter-strike. She got into Silva at this point, gets the takedown, did a little bit of work on top. You can say that might have won her the round, but this was a takedown attempt at the end of the fight in the third round. You see Silva not only work her way out of it, then she ended it with a strike.
Pode comemorar essa porra,
And see, we got Silva doing push-ups. So that means, John, what does that mean, John? She didn't leave it in the cage.
Yeah.
Let's go to Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, having gone the distance, we'll go now to your judges' scorecards. Your first judge at cage side, Ron McCarthy, scores it 29-28. He has the fight for Bud. Your second judge, Brian Miner, scores at 29-28. He has the fight for Silva. Your third and final judge at cage side, Eric Colon, scores at 29-28 for the winner by split decision, Julia the Jua Budd.
Julia Budd survives a scare in the form of Diana Silva, eking out a split decision win over the Bellator MMA newcomer. And that completes the Bellator 257 prelims. Coming up at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific, it is Bellator 257 on Showtime as we continue the Bellator MMA Light Heavyweight World Grand Prix. We will talk and see to you at 9 p.m. on Showtime.
MMA's toughest tournament rages on.
So is that all you got?
When newly crowned champ Vadim Nemkov returns to the cage to face Phil Davis.
So is that all you got?
Then Corey Overtime Anderson is on the attack to take down rising star Wolfhound Yakshimurodo.
Run and ball!
As the hunt for the title heats up, the Bellator MMA Light Heavyweight World Grand Prix, live tonight on Showtime.